rip sessions. We never get enough. The Card Life Chronicles. Big hits, hold that card up high. Old time fun and a wild surprise. The Card Life Chronicles. A wild surprise.
Hey, what's up? Jonathan Fink, Sports Card Collectors Club, and this is the Card Life Chronicles, the Shoebox session. So let me explain. Usually, every other Tuesday night, we alternate. I have my flagship, Hot Ones interview style format show, the Sports Card Collectors Club, which is on 7 o'clock every other Tuesday night. And then I have my spontaneous Card Life Chronicles show, which I've been doing spontaneously, usually late at night. We've done hour, 2 hour, even 3 hour rip sessions. But usually it's very product specific. Like we just do, just 2026 basketball update, or we do just 2026 V-Friends, etc. What I thought we would do then was create an alternative show on Tuesday nights called the Rip Sessions. And the idea was to kind of have this like virtual local card shop where we have a table set up and people can kind of just come and go. And then they get to the table, like kind of like on Topps Rip Night, we all rip cards together. And the idea was, the format was just kind of for like people just to randomly show up. In the first episode, Levi Dombrowski showed up, and he's a big Top Shot supporter. I met him during Summer League, and we actually wound up having a great time, great session. But it was just the two of us. So by the time the episode was over, it kind of looked just like my regular podcast. Then 2 weeks later, the next podcast came, and I didn't want to have to pre-reserve and get everyone lined up. I wanted people just to show up kind of as they wanted. And I didn't get a lot of responses, and I wound up doing the show solo, and it became like a typical Card Life Chronicles show. And then I kind of realized, I was talking to Paulie, who produces this whole Collecting and Connecting network. I'm like, you know what? I think this format would work better, the Rip Sessions format, if we have like recurring guests, where there's like 4 guests that are there every single week, and then people can kind of pop in and out. But if you don't have that core 4, it's kind of hard to do. And I realized, you know what? I think that show will still work one day, but it's not ready right now. There's just not enough. I don't have enough of a community following yet to make it really work, and I don't want to burden people yet to do it. And I just figured, you know what? Let's do a quick rebrand, okay? And so the idea was that my Card Life Chronicles show has been really popular, but it's been spontaneous because that's kind of the life of an author. I'm also a daytime financial advisor, and so I typically do the rip sessions when it's convenient for me, and so it's unpredictable. And I find that I just kind of put out the bat signal. I put out a tweet. It goes live on YouTube, and people seem to find it. And it starts with 5, 10, 15 people in the chat, and after an hour, there's over 100, and then by 2 hours, it's sometimes over couple thousand. And I realized that show's been working a lot, having a lot of success. It's been really fun to do. And then I realized, let's do this. Until the Rip Sessions idea is really ready, where I have 3 or 4 guys that I know or gals that I know want to do that show as a group consistently. Let's table that idea, and then let's take the Card Life Chronicles show. And let's have it every other Tuesday. We'll do it later instead of the 7 o'clock. We'll do it at 10 o'clock, right? And that will be a way where people who typically can't find my spontaneous shows live, they'll know every other Tuesday you can catch this show live. But then I had this idea. Okay, now check this out. This is a shoebox that I think my wife helped design it. But this is a shoebox that my son Nate had when he was a little kid. I guess he probably started collecting cards, like in 1st or 2nd grade, and he still has a collection. I've gifted him a lot of cards. He's got a great little PC now, but he's not a fanatic about cards like I am. But he does appreciate cards. Hey, Paul, Rip, welcome to the chat. One pack at a time. It's good to see you, buddy. So anyway, yeah. So with the shoebox idea, I've been doing pack openings for a long time. Before I did the Card Life Chronicles show, I was doing pack openings on my Kevin Dempsey Twitter account and on my College Football League account, and of course on my Sports Card Collectors Club Twitter account. I did over 1,000 pack openings, and a lot of the cards that were worth something, I flipped them. I went on eBay, I put them on sale, and that actually was one of the storylines in my book, The Flip Life, because I basically realized I can find target markets for my books by who's a better person to buy my sports card book than someone who buys sports cards on eBay. They obviously have a love for sports cards, they have the discretionary spending, and it worked. I started putting advertisements for my books in the eBay envelopes. And that kind of became the idea of the Flip Life. It's kind of an entrepreneurial kind of idea, kind of like business school, guerrilla marketing, situation, or even old school direct mail even. So anyway, the cards that are left over, I'll give away at card shops, or I'll slip into the eBay envelopes. I always put 2 or 3 envelopes, cards in the envelope for free. But then after that, I filled up the shoebox. And shout out to Jordan Neal and Jake and Scott and all the guys that work at the baseball card store in Overland Park, Kansas. I love those guys. And they're awesome because they will trade anything. It doesn't matter what it is. If it's junk wax, they'll give you junk wax prices. But whatever you have in that shoebox, they will give you an offer and give you store credit. And so sometimes I go in there and I fill this up and I might only get $10 worth of stuff. Sometimes it's $20 worth, whatever it is. But it makes a big difference when you're constantly buying and selling. Oh, guys, this is gonna happen every episode for sure. My dog needs to go out. I'll be right back. I have this media loop to play in the meantime. I'll be right back, guys. I'm so sorry.
Rip sessions, we never get enough. The Card Life Chronicles. Big hits, hold that card up high. Old time fun and a wild surprise. The Card Life Chronicles. A wild surprise.
Oh, the loop didn't go. Sorry, guys. My bad. Unprofessional. I thought I put on the loop. Maybe I only put on the intro. Oh, maybe I. Oh yeah, guys. I'm sorry. I think I just put on the original loop. Well, my dog is part of the show. He always seems to know when I'm going live and know when he needs to go potty. So my bad. Let me get back to business. So yeah. So I've been ripping packs. Actually, frankly, I was ripping packs for years when I got back into the hobby before I started doing it live on YouTube. And it was Jordan Neal. Shout out to Jordan. I gotta get the comments. All good, bud. Yeah, Paulie, I must have clicked on the wrong. I clicked on the intro button instead of the loop button. But my dog Buddy, he inevitably, loves to interrupt my show. But hey, lo-fi thing technology. Anyway, when we eventually get syndicated on Netflix, we'll have to have our own studio or something professional like that. Anyway, back to this shoebox story. So I was constantly going for years back to the baseball card store and just cashing in whatever I could, $5 here, $10 here, $20 there, and it just helps with the cash flow, constantly buying cards. And finally one day Jordan's like, "Hey Fink, why don't you go online and do this stuff and like have a YouTube channel, at least get some miles out of this?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it's not a bad idea. I guess I could do that, but it just wasn't my style. I've been so focused on writing books for the last 10 years. I really have not focused on marketing and selling my books, honestly. I've really just been like honing my craft and just being a scribe and popping out the books because that's where I felt compelled to be spending my time. But I was like, yeah, that makes some sense. I probably could do that. And then what happened is I finished my first sports card book, Volume 1. And if you don't know this, if you haven't read that book, go check it out. It's you can find it everywhere on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Target, Walmart, you name it, Google, Apple. My day job is a financial advisor. I've been investing in the markets for over 30 years. And I've always had a different strategy than my peers, primarily because I've embraced alternative asset classes. I've always been into commodities, whether it's like soybeans and natural gas, or gasoline futures, or things like precious metals, silver and gold. And then of course when cryptocurrencies, I remember my first recommendation of Bitcoin to a client was at 800. Now it did go to 120,000. Right now Bitcoin's at 70,000. So from 800 to 70,000, that's pretty insane, right? I digress. I've always appreciated alternative asset classes. So I loved cards as a kid. I was a junk wax kid. I got in the hobby in '81 with my first pack at a birthday party. By second grade, I was playing flip on the back of the bus and just gambling cards like a degenerate, but having so much fun. And then I learned from my father how he was a set builder. He completed 54, 55, 56 complete sets. So then I started to take my allowance money and go buy packs. And I'll go ride my bike into town, buy packs, and buy bazooka gum, I remember. And then building sets. And I never came close to building a set. And every time the new year would come out, I would just move on to the next set. So I always respected how my dad was able to complete sets. And he did that by hustling, by trading cards, by playing flip and whatever. So yeah, so when my son got into the hobby, he had this shoebox. And so I've been using this shoebox constantly. And then finally, when I wrote that book, I was like, you know what? I've been writing books forever. I got back into the hobby. When I got back into the hobby, I finally realized that the hobby had changed. One of the first videos I saw was Jeff Wilson, believe it or not, and he's the sports card investor guy, right? And so I noticed after I went to my first show how there really was this vibrant economy around sports cards. And of course, I love economics, I love investing, and I saw how people were making videos comparing the 52 mantle to like Apple stock and using charts and graphs. And I was like, I can really get into this because I love investing, and this is another alternative asset class. And I really saw how there was a huge opportunity for lots of different reasons where sports cards were going to boom. So I started writing a sports card investment book. In fact, I remember I was at a Giant Sports Cards near outside Atlanta, Georgia. My son played travel ball. He played for the East Coast Dodgers scout team, coached by former player John Link. Oh yeah, there are definitely hockey cards in the shoe boxes. I have all kinds of stuff in there. We'll get to that, Hold on, comment on the shoebox sessions live now. If you ever stored anything in a shoebox, Cash always stores in a shoebox. All my tips, LOL. Good job, Kenny. Basketball cards, Paulie. It's amazing how much people love Paulie. Sometimes I'll ask questions and I get crickets in the chat. When Paulie asks something, people go berserk. Yeah, basketball cards, V1MO. What's up? Shout out to you, man. So far, 14 people in the chat. Shout out to each and every one of you. I appreciate you guys so much. Back to my story. So I go start writing chapters about how would Warren Buffett do sports cards, how would a hedge fund do it, how would a private equity guy do it, how would a day trader do it. And I'm having fun writing these chapters. Some chapters are wins, some chapters are losses. And then finally one day, the Royals game is on. And by the way, shout out to the Royals. They're about to defeat the Blue Jays to win their 9th game in a row. Could it really happen? Could they shock the world and make the playoffs? That would be insane. I told everyone weeks ago I was not giving up on the Royals, and so far they're delivering for me, so I'm excited about that. Anyway, so I'm writing this book. The Royals game comes on. Is a rain delay. And as you guys know, once the rain delay gets past a certain period of time, they have to put on a show to to kill the time. And a lot of times a lot of shows put on the Card Life, Brandon Verzel's TV show hosted by Matt Strom, which is basically about sports cards, right? And I'm watching the show, and they get to this segment where Matt Strom is opening packs with a guest. And I'm watching them open packs, and I'm starting to get all the memories from when I was a kid. I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, I've been writing this book. I've gotten into this hobby. I'm constantly buying and selling singles, but I'm missing the point of this hobby. What I need to be doing is ripping packs and building sets and doing it the way I did it as a kid. That really is what I kind of the missing piece. So I started doing that. And that's how I got back involved and became very friendly with all the owners of local card shops. And that's how I then found this shoebox, and I started using it again. My son, I already had already emptied it. He was not active in the hobby anymore in high school, and then now he's in college. So I started using his old shoebox just because it's my son's, okay? And so the idea for this show came because, as you can see here, I've always used shoeboxes to collect my stuff. And all my assorted packs, the packs that I get up in Olathe, Kansas at the unopened Pac-Man store, they have this huge wall of individual packs. When I go to trade shows, one of my favorite things to do is to buy individual packs. A lot of times for my Card Life, Card Life Chronicles show, I'll buy blaster boxes and high boxes. And sometimes the episode ends for whatever reason. I have stuff left over. It all goes into the box. So I realized, you know what? Let's do this. Let me do my Card Life Chronicles show spontaneously, where people can just catch it live or catch the replay. But that will be usually a product-specific activity. But then every other Tuesday, we'll do this one, and we'll just pull cards from the shoebox. So every episode will be random, and we won't know what we're going to pull. And it'll be modern cards, it'll be junk wax, all kinds of stuff, and it'll just be a lot of fun and spontaneous. And speaking of spontaneous, I have one more thing. I have a hat with random hobby questions. So when we need to take a breather from ripping packs, we'll pull a question, and we'll let everyone in the chat kind of answer one, and that will be fun. In fact, you know what? Should we do a question right now? What do you guys think? Should we start with a question or start with a pack? I think we should start with a pack. So I'm going to put the packs below next to my feet, so I won't be able to look to see what I'm selecting. And I'm just going to randomly pick a pack, and we'll have some fun. And then we'll randomly pick a question, and we'll go there. All right, here we go. All right, real quick in the chat, V1MO writes, he or she keeps basketball cards in a shoebox. Hero of Grace writes, use the shoebox as a memory box, movie tickets, concert tickets, museum brochures, amusement park maps, etc. Very, very good. And then John Barnes writes, baseball cards back in the day. Yeah, right on. Yeah, it's cool that the shoebox still has that alternative purpose, right? For some reason, shoeboxes just still work. All right, first pack. Let's have some fun. Here we go. Whoa, Gary V. I hope you're watching. The first pack ever is a V-Friends pack. Okay, so look, V-Friends is very controversial. Some people, like me, love V-Friends. Some people do not like V-Friends. Maybe they're just jealous of Gary V. But I think of this from a perspective of as an author and as someone who's a father, someone who's soon going to be a grandfather, not too soon, but down the road. When I write my books, I'm conscious of the fact that I want to contribute to making the world a better place. I want to have my small dent, my small impression. And I've tried to do that with all my fiction and nonfiction books. But for example, when I was writing the Flip Life Sports Card Collectors Club Volume 2, which by the way is now on pre-sale, you can find it everywhere, and it goes on sale, it drops on December 1st, there's a huge section about non-sports cards. And what got me into non-sports cards was Gary V, because even though non-sports cards now are booming in price, you can see like Neo Cards just did an update on the price of pop culture cards, they call them now, or non-sports cards. They're totally booming. Spider-Man specifically is going off the charts, Disney characters. And, so I think Gary Vee wanted to profit from what he thought was going to be a boom in non-sports cards, which clearly he did, but he also wanted to make the world a better place as well. And so when I started catching his stuff on TikTok, on social media, I liked what he had to say about his entrepreneurship ideas and whatever. And then I actually wrote a chapter about him in Sports Card Volume 1 called The Prophet, because he predicted the sports card boom, which actually did manifest and happen. And then I actually dedicated Volume 2 to him because so much of that book pivots around V-Friends. The same way that the Card Life television show, the storyline pivots, in Volume 2 you'll see that it pivots around V-Friends. And so I love V-Friends because it does make the world a better place. Now, whether you love the artwork or you think some of the characters are kind of goofy, that's neither here nor there. But let's just actually read these actual cards, and you'll see how can you imagine being a grandparent and your grandkids come over and they want to have a fun activity. And yeah, you can play Pokemon, but are they going to learn anything from Pokemon, from the actual characters? Maybe not. But if they read a comic of V-Friends or watch a cartoon of V-Friends or open their cards, they will definitely learn something. So shout out to Gary V. Shout out to everyone at V-Friends. I'm a believer. I love V-Friends. And I think that they're just getting started. The sky is the limit. And if I saw a video recently, someone was kind of making fun of the character names and some of the artwork. But all that stuff can get better. But what they're doing is building an awesome community of like-minded individuals who are high vibration, good Samaritans, good people, loving people. And that's the kind of people I want to be around. It's the kind of people that this hobby needs more of. It's the kind of people that the world needs more of. So yeah, shout out to V-Friends. Just a brilliant concept. So yeah, I'm happy that this is random. We picked it out of the box. We start with V-Friends. Here we go. NHL. David Jackson keeps NHL stuff, Pogs, in his shoebox. That's awesome. Yeah, the shoebox is alive and well. All right, Impeccable Astronaut. Now, that one might be one of the goofy characters, to be fair. I don't even know what an astronaut is. Competitive Advantage. Always strikes with 100% intent to create the best outcome. Creative Crab. knows the most important thing is just to start. Big Game Bandicoot, Yellow Refractor. A master of taking calculated risks with unflinching confidence. Perspective Pigeon. Chooses half glass full, knowing that in life you find what you're looking for. All right, good start, good start. All right, let's do a question, guys. Let's get the chat going. I'll read the question, and then we'll let everyone answer, and then I'll answer last. All right. If your entire collection disappeared overnight, except for one item, what survives? All right, chat. Everyone, give your answers here. Here's the question again. If your entire collection disappeared overnight, except for one item, what survives? I've seen that question asked on a podcast, but like, if your house is on fire, you have to grab one thing. All right, anyone in the chat, Paulie? What's in your collection? If your entire collection disappeared overnight, except for one item, what survives? All right, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, my answer would be sentimental. This card right here. Oh, David Jackson, that's too tough. Another question. That's funny, dude. Yeah, we'll have other questions to come. So this card, I think when I bought it raw, I bought two of them. One from this card. So here's the story behind this card. So during the pandemic, I was hardcore writing books. I think I wrote like 5 or 6 books during the pandemic. I was not back into the card market at all. But a lot of people who are my age, who keep up the hobby typically for 20 years or so, got back into the hobby during the pandemic because they were stuck at home, couldn't go to work, nothing to do. And online, it was a big thing. And it was, people were buying boxes and packs and having them delivered. And everyone got into their attics and their basements and got back into the hobby. I was writing Kevin Dempsey Republic Baseball League books. And I was writing, the basketball gods are real and stuff like that, and Spirits of the Gridiron. So when the pandemic ended, I went, and the first trade show was announced. I went to it and I saw this card. I saw 2 of them. They were $50 each. I was just at a trade show this week and I saw them at $100 each. So I guess the price has doubled in the last 5 years for this card, which maybe is not even that much, because look at the prices of a lot of the cards that have been going up, like the Jordan card and stuff. Insane, the rookie card. But anyway, I got this because Willie Mays was my dad's favorite player. And my dad's entire collection was destroyed. My grandma threw it away when they moved apartments, when my dad was in law school. And I write that story in my book. I share that story, rather. So I thought, you know what? Let me give this to my dad for Father's Day. I kept one for me to put in my PC. This is my first card that I ever PC'd. I still had the binders from like my old Jackplex days, but that doesn't count. But this would be the one card that I would take because it's so sentimental to me, because of my dad and because of the whole book series, Sports Card Collectors Club. I feel like this card ignited the whole journey, and I would not have written that book if I didn't acquire this card and start my PC. So this would be the answer to that question. It would be my 1964 Willie Mays card. All right. We don't have to keep track of how many packs we're going to rip, but let's go for pack number 2. Here we go. Whoa. Okay. Whoa. And look who's on the cover. All right. This is fun, dude. Okay. So do you guys know what Sage is? So Sage makes unlicensed sports card products. Typically sold at Walmart. Typically not popular enough or coveted enough to be sold at even local card shops. But when I was writing the Spirits of the Gridiron series, it's about college football. And I gotta rip packs and wear college jerseys. I gotta feel the vibe when I'm writing that kind of topic, Because you gotta get the energy flowing all the time. At least that's with me. So when you buy Sage, there's even a blaster box will have guaranteed 3 autos in it. So it's kind of cool because, yeah, a lot of the cards are based on licensed crap, but if you pull an auto of a future superstar, it's kind of awesome. So anyway, this was one of the packs that got left behind. But look who the player is on the front. Cyrus Allen. Does that name ring a bell for anybody? of course, I think it's unlicensed photos. You can't even tell who he's playing for. Cyrus Allen, he was actually only the fifth round pick for the Chiefs, but he played for Cincinnati, and some think he's going to be a superstar wide receiver for the Chiefs. And even on the depth chart, he's only listed as, I think, 3 or 4. He's 1 or 2 injuries away from being a number 1 receiver for Patrick Mahomes, and apparently he's been a huge standout in the preseason so far. So that's already really fun to see. All right, so Cyrus Allen, Brendan Lewis, Eric Rivers. Yeah, not a big fan of unlicensed stuff, generally speaking. Cool names. Star Thomas, Luke Hetmeyer, Red Murdoch, another cool name. Devontae Ross with the next level insert. TJ Parker. Jordan Tyson. That's another big name now. Keon Sadiq. Barlin Brown. That's pretty good. It's unlicensed, but you can tell that's LSU, right? And then Donnie Dennis Sutton. All right, so we're 2 for 2 at 2 bus packs. By the way, the chat up to 50 people, 51 now. Thank you so much for joining. This is the Shoebox Session, so it's part of my Card Life Chronicles podcast series. But as you know, typically my episodes are spontaneous. They can be at midnight, they can be at 2 in the morning, they can be at 3 in the afternoon, and it's usually product specific. I decided that every other Tuesday night, 10 o'clock Eastern, 7 Pacific, we're going to do a Card Life Chronicles show, but it will be a shoebox episode, a shoebox session, where I'm going to literally just pick cards, pick packs randomly from the shoebox, and it's just whatever comes out is what we're going to enjoy to rip. So it's kind of unpredictable. Every episode will be different, and you never know what we're going to pull. Ooh, Topps Chrome 2025. Okay, so this was like way overprinted. I bought a ton of it when it first came out, which is why I have some still. I've done a couple of trade shows as a vendor, primarily to sell my books, but I sold cards too. And I actually had so much of this stuff that I sold some of it. I actually thought that the secondary market would be much stronger than it was. I thought it would be like what happened with Topps Chrome basketball, with Cooper Flag on the cover. Even now, a blaster is going for like $90. That didn't happen with Topps Chrome football. They printed so much that the prices stayed close to MSRP. So basically, I made a little bit of money on those, on the ones that I sold, but then I decided just to rip the rest. And if you remember my regular pack opening series, I ripped a ton of Topps Chrome football, and I would say 95% of the time it was a bust pack. But I did pull one Jaden Daniels super short print. I forget it wasn't the I forget the name of it, unfortunately, but it sold for like $500. So I probably recouped a good amount of the money that I spent on Topps Chrome football. But the point is, I think there's still some major hits that have not been pulled yet. So it could happen right now. Here we go. Let's find out. 2025. By the way, what do you guys think of the rookie class this year? Not that good, I don't think, right? I love Evan Mendoza. I like Jordan Love. I like Caleb Downs as a cornerback in Dallas. But it's not a very deep class. Carson Beck, I think, could be pretty cool. I actually named my main character of my Spirit of the Gridiron series, Beck Jordan. I named him after Carson Beck. I took his last name, and then I combined that with Michael Jordan's last name to create that character. Here's Leggett. Can't pronounce that. Here's the Travis Hunter Fortune's rookie card. That's actually a legit hit, I think. I featured Travis Hunter and Shedeur Sanders in a chapter about the Colorado Buffaloes football team in Sports Card Collector Club Volume 1. A big fan of Travis Hunter. Unfortunately, he got hurt last year, so he wasn't really to play two-way for too long. But I think this is worthy of the first card going into the gallery. It's got sentimental value, but it's also a rookie card and an insert, the Fortune insert. That's a win right there. So we'll celebrate that. And then we got the Jordan Addison parallel. Not worthy of the gallery, but that's a nice looking card. Maybe worth $1 or $2. All right, it's 3 packs. Here we go. Oh, you know what? Sometimes you can almost, if you rip enough packs like I do, you actually could, just by feeling, you could tell what it's going to be. So I actually ran to the store today. My shoebox was very sports heavy, and I actually wanted to make sure that I had proper non-sports card representation. And I love the international Pokemon stuff because the packs are super cheap. These are all $3. But you'll know a good hit when you pull one, even if you don't know Chinese or South Korean or Japanese. But yeah, but you can feel it because I think these packs have less cards. There's only three or four cards instead of seven, and it just feels different material. So yeah, so obviously I love Pokemon, but I was super late to the Pokemon craze. I don't claim to be an OG. Even though I'm actually I'm a recurring guest on the Poke podcast show, which is tomorrow night, by the way, on the Collecting and Connecting Network. So go check that out for sure. But I love the economics of Pokemon. I love the art. And it was actually through V-Friends. In Volume 2, I write about how after I got into V-Friends and it kind of opened my world to non-sports cards, I had to discover Pokemon. And so I was basically had to pick up some stuff at the pharmacy at Target on Ward Parkway, and there's this huge line. I'm like, what's going on, guys? What's the line? What's the fuss? And everyone's like, Pokemon. I'm like, what Pokemon? Destined Rivals, ETBs are dropping. And I'm like, what? So I got online, and I picked up two. And I ripped those boxes, and I wrote about the experience in that book, The Flip Life, which comes out in December. So not only is my book, The Pokemon Gods Are Real, now on pre-sale, comes out officially September 16th. The ebook's on pre-sale. Paperback and hardback won't be available until the day of. But yeah, I spent 2 years on that project. I spent about, I'd say, a year researching Pokemon, talking to vendors, going to card shops, ripping packs. Then I started clicking the ETBs ever since Destined Rivals. And then it took me about 6 months to write the book, and then about 6 months to edit it. So basically about 2 years in total. So yeah, so I'm not an expert on Pokemon, but I love Pokemon enough to write a book about it, because is it really about Pokemon? No, it's about the religion of Pokemon. It's about how hobbies resemble religions, how much we love our hobbies, and how they are like religions, and it's all about the community, and it's a beautiful thing. So yeah, so it's tongue-in-cheek. It's not really religion. I'm writing a similar book right now called The Basketball Gods Are Real. That will be released on July 11th next year. I chose that date because that's the date of the photo that I took of using I was at the Summer League this past summer, and at the game, the ticket was July 11th, and so the book cover uses that ticket. So I'm going to put that book out a year from that date. That book I wrote during the pandemic, but I spent about a month editing it, kind of just getting it updated, which wasn't that hard to do. And then now I'm still doing the edit right now, where I'm reading it over and over again every single day, making sure that it's perfect, Cart Pigs, what's up, dude? Shoebox, yeah, it's the Shoebox sessions. We rip packs. We don't know what we're going to pick. Every episode will be random. Now, on my regular Card Life Chronicles, the show itself is what's unpredictable, because you never know when I'm going to go live. But once I have the show live, it's going to be the same product the whole way through. Okay, cute card alert right there. Cute card alert. Cute card alert. And look at this. Little Pokemon anomaly. I love the anomalies. Very cool. Not worth anything, but still a lot of fun. Okay, so let's do another question. We now have a lot more people in the chat. We got 157 live with us. So thank you for joining us. Hopefully this question will be easier. All right. By the way, Tulane hat, roll wave. All right, here's the question, guys. Do you collect because you love owning things, because you love the hunt, or because you love the stories? That's pretty deep, actually. That might be hard for people to. Oh, Garrison Lyles. What's up, Garrison? Welcome back, dude. He puts his Hot Wheels in his shoebox. Dude, that's awesome. I actually still have my Hot Wheels and my Lego collection. I gave them all to my son, and we're keeping them to give to my grandkids. That stuff is like irreplaceable. That's awesome. Every once in a while, I see people on TikTok who create these like Hot Wheels tracks, and people are like, I don't know if they're betting or what the hell they're doing, but they're picking cars, they're racing, all this stuff that I did as a little kid. Adults are doing it, and people are watching, which is kind of hilarious. Which just goes to show, find your passion, no matter what it is. If you love it, other people will probably love it too. So anyway, anyone want to answer this question? Let's see. Do you collect because you love owning things, because you love the hunt, or because you love the stories? Anyone want to take a shot at that? I will. I'd say I love the hunt. The stories kind of come after. I mentioned that Willie Mays card. I was hunting. I was at a show. I was just looking around, and I found the card. The fact that I bought the card and why I bought the card for my dad and all that became the story. But it was the hunt itself that was the joy of the hobby that I love the most. And that's what I enjoy. I also, that's why I love set building. Building sets is a funny thing. and there's different ways to build sets because, like, I just interviewed Michaela Bear last week. She's a super collector. She collects Stephen Kwan cards from the Cleveland Indians, not just cards, pink cards. She's got over, I think, over 5,000. So, like, it's never ending. She'll just keep collecting forever because as long as he's playing, the manufacturers will keep putting out cards and some of them will be pink, and she can keep that going. In Sports Card Volume 1, I have a chapter about the 1986 Flair set that I started building for the first time. At the time of the book, I had acquired, I think, 7 or 8 cards and no big names yet. But that set is 200, period. So once you complete it, you've completed it. So there's a thrill of the chase, of the hunt, of going to a card show and finding a card that you need and adding it to your collection, keeping track of what you have, what you don't have, and then going to eBay, finding another one. And then it gets more exciting as you get closer and closer to completing the set. But once the set's completed, then you have to move on to the next project, which is fine too. But the end of that journey is over. But then there's a story about that set now that you've built it. Now, I'm building a new set right now that is sort of infinite, but does have a limit. And I'm going to show you guys this now because this is an example of how you do not have to spend lots of money to enjoy this hobby. So let's take a break real quick. I'm going to do Think Story Time. I'm going to show you something. Hold on, it's right here. So there actually will be a chapter about this, a small chapter in Volume 3 of the Card Life, which is going to be a pretty big book. It's going to be pretty comprehensive. But building sets and collecting is the core of the hobby, and nothing wrong with flipping and investing. I think that's all part of the hobby too. It's all about how you enjoy the hobby. There's a place for both of it. But right now, sports card prices are at an elevated level, and markets could crash at some point very, very soon. And I fear that some people who are investing could get crushed soon. And if you're buying cards for collection purposes, because you love them, the price is irrelevant to begin with. And if it goes up or down, it doesn't really matter, okay? But the point is, I love the hobby. I'm always looking for ways to enjoy the hobby. And I also have a budget. No one's budget is unlimited, but I do spend a lot of money on cards for sure. But I also want to find ways to create content and enjoy the hobby. And I've always loved video games ever since I was a little kid. I had Atari, Pong, Game One, ColecoVision. I mean, everything all the way different through. Played tons in high school, tons in college, even as an adult. The last 10 years, though, I've really not played a lot of games because I've been so obsessed with writing books. So all my free time, I feel guilty if I'm doing anything but writing, being productive. So I've bought the new Madden or the new MLB The Show, but I barely play that stuff, which is a shame. When my son was in his middle school, high school years, I played a ton with him, and then as he kind of got phased out of that and started playing Fortnite, which I wasn't into, that then freed up my time and I kind of transitioned. But now I'm at a point where I've put out now 16 books in basically, almost 10 years. It's a lot. I've kind of oversaturated my market. I'm kind of cannibalizing my own sales. And even though I have many more projects to still put out, I'm now going to kind of be more methodical and I'm going to put books out only twice a year, every 6 months. So even though I was going to start this with Pokémon and put that book out next summer, but with the 30th anniversary right here in September, I'm like, you know what? There's no book, anything quite like what I wrote, Pokemon Gods Are Real. That book needs to be out in September. So I put it out. So I did put out, released on July 4th, Republic Baseball Volume 3, The New Era. That trilogy is not complete. Then I put out Pokemon, September 16th. Then we had December 1st, The New Era. And then in 6 months, on July 11th, we'll have basketball. So I don't know what will come out after that, but it'll be more spaced out going forward. So that allows me to kind of, spend more time with my wife, and my dog, and spend more time on social media doing my shows. And I host 2 shows. I'm a recurring guest on 2 others. So it allows me to have more time to do social media stuff and whatever, which is good. It's important to market my books too. It's hard if you don't sell any books. What's the point, right? People have to read them and be aware of you. So the timing is right. To kind of slow down the writing process, and that machine, slow it down twice a year, and that gives me more time, not just to do social media, but also do things that I used to love doing, like just playing video games. But now I do video games where it's an alternative. Like when I'm editing, you can't edit forever. So if I'm in the house editing, roaming the house editing my basketball book, when it's time for a break, I'll play a 30-minute game of NBA 2K. And what I haven't done is I recreated a league called the Lost Franchises. And I'm starting with the Kansas City Kings, in 1983. So I'm going to play every season all the way up until the modern time, okay? And then next year, in 1984, I'm bringing in 6 expansion teams. Now, these are real teams that used to exist either in the NBA or the ABA that are now defunct. Like, for example, the New Jersey Americans, the Syracuse Nationals, the Buffalo Braves, right? The Baltimore Bullets, the San Diego Clippers, right? And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep the Kings because they were so bad in real life that they eventually moved to Sacramento. And, of course, in 2 years when they're supposed to move, we're not going to move. We're going to stay in Kansas City. And what I basically did was I rebuilt the team. And I used the draft picks, and I kind of went all in. I only have two draft picks left, but I had to get a team that could compete. Because think about it, this is the Bird Magic era. There's some really good teams. But I rebuilt the roster, and now I'm collecting the cards of the players that I'm using. Now, look, you can find a lot of these players on eBay, a lot of these cards for like $1, plus shipping, another $1, so like for $2 per card. And I'm having so much fun, curating a collection, because when I want to pull up a Dale Ellis card, there's tons, because no one, who the heck's collecting Dale Ellis right now? Nobody. So the truth is, there's lots of different ways to enjoy this hobby, and you'll see, we'll add this all up, we'll assume it's $2 a card, but maybe I spent not even $100 on this whole PC so far, and I love it. So check it out. When I was a kid, I was a New York Knicks fan. However, because of the cable network situation, and because I played fantasy sports, I played fantasy basketball in high school, whenever the Nets games were on, I watched a lot of Net games. I kind of fell in love with certain players like Drazen Petrovic. And then we started getting TBS. And so TBS, of course, had the Atlanta Braves and the Atlanta Hawk games. And again, because I was always playing fantasy sports, I watched everything. This is before the internet, where you're reading the newspaper to get the scores the next day. But if you watch the games live, you know all the stats right there. And, of course, you can't watch all your players live, but my favorite player was Dominic Wilkins. So anytime the Hawks were playing, I was watching that game. Watching Knicks games, watching the Net games. And I would always try to draft players that I knew were on the teams that I'd be able to watch. So anyway, Dominic Wilkins is my favorite player. So I traded a shit ton of draft picks to get him. And I traded him from the Atlanta Hawks. And so he is my Magic Johnson. In real life, he was a small forward. I use him as my starting point guard. And then when everyone's getting tired, I bring in the subs. I move him to I bring in Craig Hodges or Mike Dunleavy as a backup point guard, and then I move him to small forward. I keep him. I let him play longer, even though he's getting a little tired. Then I have, when he comes out of the game, I basically run plays to shoot threes, even though the 3-point rule only was implemented, I think, in 1981. And I have Dale Ellis and John Sunvold. In fact, Dale Ellis has been so good for me that he actually made the 3-point contest for the All-Star game. I just finished mid-season. So I got my starting 5. I got Dominic Wilkins at point. I got John Sunvold at my shooting guard. I got Dale Ellis at small forward. Then I have the deadhead himself, Bill Walton, at power forward. And then I have Wayne Tree Rollins, who also played for the Atlanta Hawks back in the day, at center. Okay, and then, of course, I go like 9 men deep. I have Mike Dunleavy and Craig Hodges that come in. And then I have a couple of big men that relieve Rollins and Bill Walton for a little bit. So the point is, I've had so much fun now collecting, and every time I do a post of like the link to the YouTube account, people can watch if they want to watch my games on. I had it get set up with Twitch and hook it up to my YouTube. When I first started doing it, I was literally just had the camera like taking video of the TV. It was really pathetic. Here's an on-card auto of John Sunvold. So these are the cards that I've already introduced to the public with my updates. Now this one, this guy doesn't play for me, but it's a Kansas City Kings card. It's a Dominic Wilkins All-Star card. Again, almost all these cards cost me $1 plus $1 shipping. Dale Ellis. This one is just because it's a Kansas City Kings card. I happen to love Spud Webb, one of my all-time favorite players. He's not on my team yet, but I will do my best to get him on my team. Another Kings card. I actually have a high box of 1994 Team USA basketball on its way to rip for this series. Here's another Dominique Team USA. This one was crazy. This one, I think I might have overpaid. I might have paid like $4 for this one. I forget. There's a Dale Ellis on-card auto. This is a modern one, a modern Don Ross optic Dominique. It's cool that they celebrate the legends. These are the first Wayne Tree Rollins. This is a card from the 70s. He's the master of blocks. And then Dale Ellis played for a lot of teams. So those are the cards that I've already rolled out. So I'll give you a sneak peek of the rest that I had so far. Hold on. Now, some of these guys are not on my team, but I know at some point, like when I make the playoffs, I'm gonna want a neat card. Like when I play the Celtics in the finals, I'll have cards like this. So this is from the most recent set. This is a Larry Bird, red, white, and blue. I've already played the Lakers. I beat them. My team is 10-1 right now. I saw that in the ticker that Kareem is injured for like a month in the simulation. So that's interesting. And then these are some other cards from my team that I haven't got a chance to use yet. There's another on-card auto of John Sunville. This was literally $1. I bought this for $1. Could you believe that? Dominique Hoops, the classic NBA Hoops design. Dale Ellis. All-Star. Oh, Seattle. Rest in peace, Seattle Supersonics. So Mike Dunleavy, I didn't draft. But once the season, after the first game, I realized I needed some depth. And I signed him as a free agent. So he's the only player that I signed as a free agent so far. And he's been a good role player. He doesn't really shoot very much. He kind of just plays defense and, gets a pass, an assist or two here every game. This one is a modern card, I believe, kind of a retro, but it's really cool. Bill Walton. Walton, his career was hampered by foot injuries. He became a legendary announcer and a legendary fan of the Grateful Dead. He's like one of the all-time legendary Deadheads. Probably been to hundreds of shows. There's another all-star card for Dominique. So I mentioned earlier I'm building this set, 1986 Flair. This is my Wayne Tree Rollins. He's one of my original cards that I collected. Look at that insert, in your face, Dominique. I finally have learned how to properly dunk in NBA 2K. Did not do well in the dunk contest. That's kind of a different situation. But in the game, I can do some cool dunks with Dominique now. I kind of set up a pick and roll, and then if I get the space, instead of dumping it off, I can just do a cool slam. This is a really cool card of Bill Walton with the Clippers. Craig Hodges is shooting 100% from the field. He's been brutal, mostly taking three-point shots. And I remember him playing for the Bulls. He was good at three-pointers. He is not good for us. So he's kind of like a bench guy now. Maybe he'll get better. He can kind of just bring the ball up, make some passes, but he's not super big. He's not really that great in defense, so he's not playing a big role in the team. So I probably won't buy more cards with him. That's kind of how I'll do it, John Sunvold, he's taken a second seat to Dale Ellis. I run more three-point plays for Dale Ellis, but Sunvold's got potential. He can hit the three for sure. This one's not out of its packaging yet. Another Dale Ellis card. Love this Dominique one. He's slamming it down. Craig Hodges. And then Dale Ellis, Supersonic. So these I bought ahead of time just for the updates when they come. So the point is, let's add it all up real quick. I'll keep buying because there's no limit to how many I could buy. I could buy endless Dale Ellis cards. What's going to happen is every season my roster is going to change. And so if I don't keep Dale Ellis on my team, I'm not going to keep buying his cards. If he doesn't play well, I won't buy buying his cards. If I draft, whoever, John Stockton, I'll probably start buying his cards. So the portfolio, the PC will change and ebb and flow based on the seasons. But again, eventually it'll end because eventually I'll play every season and it'll be done. And then the PC will be over. So even it's kind of unlimited, it does have a limit. Let's count them real quick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. I spent $60, guys, on this PC. And it's been so much fun. I buy a card at a time, a little here, a little there, and great way to enjoy the hobby without spending a lot of money. I mean, if you're young and you prefer the modern stuff is very, very expensive. But if you're my age, you want to rip the fun stuff because, there's lots of big hits. There's one-on-ones. You could chase Cooper Flag, rookie patch autos. But go look up the junk wax on eBay, and you could buy, especially hockey, a complete hobby box for like $30. And you get so much enjoyment, especially if you loved hockey and you grew up in the 80s and 90s. It's a no-brainer, guys. All right. Next pack, here we go. Ooh, 2025 Topps Archive Baseball. I believe this has retro card designs, and I think 3 different ones. Paulie writes, cool gold foil on them. Yeah, absolutely, dude. This is the design from the 1964 Willie Mays card that I just showed you, is it not? Yanni Diaz, Cade Horton, and then here's the next design. Whoa. So, talk about PC. In my vintage collection, I do not own a Jackie Robinson card, and I am actively searching for the right card at the right price for 1954 Jackie Robinson. Ultimately, my stamp collection, which I inherited from my grandpa Marty, that'll go to my daughter. My son's gonna get all my cards. And he played for the Dodgers scout team. Like, he literally wore a Dodgers uniform. In fact, their 3rd uniform was a Jackie Robinson alternative 42 jersey, which is sick. And definitely want him to inherit a Sandy Koufax and a Jackie Robinson card from me. So before I print the Card Life Volume 3, I will have that card acquired, so I can add that card and the story behind it into a chapter. But gotta love Jackie Robinson. Jackson Merrill. Hyun-Sung Kim rookie card, Chris Sale, and then we could debate this. Some say it could be Satchel Paige, some will say it's Sandy Koufax. I can make the argument that Bob Gibson is the greatest pitcher ever. Many would make that argument for sure. In the meantime, that pack was a bust. All right, next shoebox. We're now over 500 in the chat, guys. That is amazing. Thank you so much. Here we go. Yeah, unfortunately, if I keep fishing around, I can kind of guess almost what every product is. As soon as I picked this one up, I knew it was some junk wax. We got 1992 Flair football. Isn't this wild? Look who it says collect Mark Ripien. You guys remember Mark Ripien? Did not make the Hall of Fame. It goes to show you how so much of sports card collecting on the flip investment side is pure speculation. Modern players, they get injured, their careers never manifest to the extent to which you think they will. So few players become GOAT level. So I'd say 95% of most cards will go to 0 eventually. It's the players that become, right? Wait, baseball. 25,000 players have ever made to the big leagues. Only 1% of them have made to the Hall of Fame. So, let's see who's in this pack. That might be worth anything. It'll be fun trying, though. Ken Clark. The cards feel crisp and brand new. Mo Gardner. Oh, look at this one. Jeff Hostetler. He was tough. He had some good years. So I grew up in a house where my dad rooted for the Jets and the Giants. So I did too. So I definitely remember rooting for Jeff Hostetler for a period of time. Did he make it to the Super Bowl? I think he did, right? Sean Jefferson. Marvin Washington. Rest in peace to the Houston Oilers. Mike Tomczak. I love the logo of the Buccaneers. Look at that sweetness. Charles McRae. Oh, Sean Landetta, and I love the helmets. Look at that. Does that protect you from anything? Brian Noble. Here's a rare insert. Prospects. Matt Labonte. Did anything happen with him? I don't think so, but that's a pretty cool photo. Oh, I think these are their college photos. Here's Darrell Williams. Joe Hilgenberg. Eric Kramer. Remember playing Tecmo Bowl with Eric Kramer? Calvin Williams. Tim Harris. Lewis Oliver. So much fun. From that pack I bought at unopened Pac-Man store in Olathe, probably a $2 pack. So we got zero in value back, but I got $2 worth of entertainment out of that for sure. All right, here we go. Ooh, oh, second V Friends. What's crazy is there's got to be over 100 packs in that shoebox. There's only 6 V Friends cards. I bought a blaster. I don't think there were any more in there. There could have been. We'll see. So I have not heard a lot about V Friends lately. I've not seen anyone rip their stuff. It's not been as popular as I thought it would be, but I still see it. Blasters are being sold for $50. Megas at 90. So the boxes are still around at the card shops, but no one's buying them at that price, which is crazy because Series 1, those boxes, the blasters were going for like 90 and people were buying them hand over fist. That tells you that I think a lot of the big 101s have not been hit yet. So maybe this is our time. The friend gods be with us. Moral monkey. While others look for quick wins, he chooses character, ethics, and the high road. Patient pig. Understands the biggest wins come from knowing life is long. Shout out to my grandma Doris. We just planned to visit New York, Long Island for her 103rd birthday end of September. And unfortunately, she's turned the corner and she's now in hospice and she's going to pass this week. I'll be going to New York for her funeral probably next week when the time comes. So sending my love and prayers to my grandma Doris, an amazing human being. To live almost to 103, it's just incredible. But you want to live a long, healthy life, and the last few months have not been healthy. She actually had heart surgery at age 100. Could you believe that? And it worked. And her congestive heart failure kind of went away. The problem subsided for a few more years. And she was playing Mahjong like last week. But then something happened. She kind of turned the corner, and it was time. And she's ready to go. So prayers to her. Yeah, hospice is showing up. The whole thing. I'm waiting for the call. But you know what? You want to live a long life, but you want to live a healthy life. And so it's times like this, it makes you check yourself. You know, how are you living? I probably should not be drinking soda anymore. I probably should just be drinking water. Your health is your wealth, you know. But my grandmother is the American dream. My grandpa fought in World War II, and they were lovebirds, pen pals, lovebirds. And then as soon as he got back from the war, they got married. He was the American dream. He worked in a lumber yard his entire life in Queens, but they saved every paycheck. He started investing in his early days, and he built a really nice nest egg for his family. They wound up traveling the entire world. They didn't go to Antarctica, but they went to China and Japan and South America and Egypt, and they lived an amazing, amazing life. And my grandpa also lived a super long life, 95 years old, and they were totally soulmates. And so the last few years, my grandma's been living without him, and I believe in souls reuniting. And so I know my grandpa Marty is waiting for my grandma Doris, and even though right now she's suffering with oxygen and morphine and anxiety, whatever they're doing to ease her pain as she goes, but I hope she goes peacefully, and you know, I know that my grandpa Marty will be waiting for her, and it'll be amazing when they get reunited. I guess I should also just mention this: everyone grieves differently. There's no right or wrong way to grieve. When it comes to death, what helps me is the idea of reincarnation. Frankly, most everyday Jews don't believe in reincarnation, but the black hat Orthodox Jews actually do. And if you do the math, about 25% of the world population, if you include all the Buddhists and all the Hindus, and even a lot of the Jews, and even some Christians, like Gnostic Christians and really spiritual, esoteric Christians, do believe in reincarnation. In fact, some say that Jesus Christ himself preached in the Galilee reincarnation to his 12 disciples, and then during the time of Constantine, those pages were taken out of the Bible because they at the time wanted people to fear hell, be a good person, and not think that there's second chances. Because if you believe in karma and dharma, the idea is that everything that you do in your life is being measured, and the good deeds will be rewarded, and the bad deeds will be kind of like take points off your scorecard. And then when you finish this life, you have to return and you come back, and your next life is based on your accumulation of all the pros and cons, all the plus and minuses from all your lives combined. And so some people seem to have blessed lives, other people seem to struggle. Maybe there's a rhyme and reason for those things. I don't have the answers, guys, but I will tell you this. When I texted my mom that, I look forward to when my grandma Doris comes back as one of my children's children. right? Because the Black Hat Orthodox Jews believe that you reincarnate within your own family tree. And so that's very interesting because that means then that what your dad taught you, you then teach your son. Your son is going to teach his kid, and his kid could be the reincarnation of my grandfather. So basically, my grandfather, who taught my father, who taught me, who taught my son Nate, who taught his son, he basically taught himself. So the family tree is a cycle, and so maybe that's why some families achieve wealth, and some families suffer. And if you're achieving wealth because of bad ethics and bad morals, because you're cheating and you're committing fraud, well, karma and dharma will eventually catch up to that entire family tree. So, how you live your life is really important because, maybe we really are being judged by God, and we can think of it as heaven and hell. Or, look, if you lived a horrible life, you treat people poorly, your next life could be a living hell, and so it's all relative. So anyway, just a random thought there, but just something to think about when I saw that comment about a long life. Anyway, up next, Mint Mink leads the way in innovation, agility, and seizing new opportunities. Here we got a balanced battle. You're going to die, fly, and forever phoenix. The pull in opposite directions. Urgency versus eternity. You're going to die, fly pushes you to live boldly right now. What we were just talking about. Live life to the fullest. Forever Phoenix reminds you to build something that lasts. Together, they prove the best lives are lived with urgency and design for legacy. So this is the kind of shit that sports car gods are real. Just talk about my grandmother passing soon and her legacy, how she lived her life, the longevity of her life, appreciating your life, living a healthy life. Because a card brought that topic up, and then this one kind of like answered it. And those are the kind of mysteries that I hope to try to capture in my books, but you couldn't have captured it any better than capturing it live right here and right now. That literally was like a synchronicity. That's, Grandpa Marty, that was probably you. It's crazy. All right. Let's do a question. Ooh. What's the next thing you want to collect? All right, Paulie, come on. What's the next thing you want to collect? Garrison Lions, what's the next thing you want to collect? Cart Pigs, what's the next thing you want to collect? Lee Tran, what's the next thing you want to collect? Let's hear from the chat. I actually already told you earlier what I want to collect next. If you remember, drop it in the chat. All right, I'll give a few more seconds to the chat to answer if they want to. If Paulie doesn't ask for a question, it doesn't happen. When I do it, I don't get a response. Paulie is the chat room master. So the next thing I want to collect is the 1954 Willie Mays card. It's the all yellow design. I thought about buying on eBay like the $5 1994 remake version of it just to like have it, but that's not gonna wait. I'm gonna get it on eBay or at a show. Some way, somehow, I'm gonna get that card before I finish writing the Card Life. That's kind of the last piece of the puzzle. That's what I want to collect. 1954, Jackie Robinson. All right, next pack. Ooh, okay. Panini Rookie and Stars 2025. So in the Flip Life, which comes out on December 1st, now on pre-sale, there's a storyline that goes through it, but there's also a storyline about just ripping wax and just enjoying the thrill of ripping wax and documenting the experience, and kind of like how I do it live here, but I just do it in literary form. And it just happened to be the time where it was the last year of Panini owning the licensing rights for basketball and football. So everything that I ripped, all those products, I had never ripped Rookie and Stars before, but I got to do it because I wanted to experience the last run of Panini. I also then ripped the Topps football unlicensed stuff just because I wanted to experience what Topps was trying to do. And it kind of comes full circle when I write the Card Life Volume 3, because now it's flipped. Now Panini's got all the unlicensed stuff, and they're trying to stay relevant, where Topps basically has the big four sports locked up with exclusive licenses. And by the way, whether Fanatics is a monopoly or not, that could be debated. But I just think it's, kudos to them, but I just think it's a mistake that these leagues gave exclusive licenses to anyone. But back in the day, we had Score and Donruss and Flair and Topps. There was all these Opeachy and you know everyone had the license. And you could say, well, there was too many products. It was junk wax that overprinted it. But I like the competition. Competition forces every company to put out better products, to have better quality. It raises the game. Competition raises the game. So that's why I believe in the free market. And and that goes also true for video games. EA Sports getting the exclusive license for Madden for football or for any sport has not proven to be good. It was better when there was competition. Competition wins. I'm a capitalist. What can I say? All right. Rookies and stars. Here we go, guys. Bijan Robinson. Yeah, I mean, let's be honest. The design is just okay. It's nothing special. Justin Herbert, Puka Nacua. I'll be avoiding Puka Nacua this year in fantasy. All this off-the-field stuff just got me not worth the risk. Justin Jefferson. What's this? Thrillers insert for Xavier Leggett. That's a cool-looking card. Tyler Show rookie card. Very nice. Terrence Ferguson. Ooh. Shador Sanders rookie. Now, he just got announced to be the backup this year. Deshaun Watson should not be the starter for lots of different reasons. It should be Shador. He was awesome last year. I have a mini little Shador PC. I respect him very much. Yeah, I feature him in Sports Card Volume 1, but the reason I PC him is because he got blackballed during the draft. He went down to over the last rounds, and then he was treated like crap in Cleveland, and he had the best attitude. And I love the way he handled himself. He's really matured so much. He kind of was immature a little too cocky in college, even though he was super talented always. I'm rooting for Shador Sanders. So this gets some sentimental value. And there he is. He's united with Travis Hunter. Look at that. The chapter that I wrote in Volume 1 was about Colorado, and I specifically invested in these two guys. By the way, great chapter idea, great thesis. The problem was grading. I pulled those cards right from packs. I thought for sure they would get 10s, like we always do when we submit cards. And you'll see in the back of the book, I got horrible grades. And as you know, a 9 basically trades equal to raw value these days, which I don't agree with because it costs $200 just to get the card graded. But whatever, I digress. Love those two guys. Rooting for them both to have great seasons. And then that's the end of that pack. So that was a decent pack. I did an interview with Michaela Baird last week. I talked about how I think 85 to 90% of packs are total busts. And then out of that remaining 10%, I would say that 8% are like decent. 2% are actually very, very good. We have a really good hit. That was one of those like 8%. Like, all right, decent pack, couple good rookies. That was all right. All right, next, here we go. Ooh. Yeah, see, this format I think is a lot of fun. I think it's fun for me. I don't know what's going to happen next. You don't know what's going to happen next. We always don't know the cards we're going to pull, but we don't even know the product we're going to pull. So I love this format, the Shoebox sessions. Every other Tuesday night, we're going to keep doing this. We have 567 folks in the chat. God bless you guys. Appreciate you all so much. I really do appreciate you. I'm grateful. You can spend your free time doing anything with anyone, and you're here ripping packs with this community. And so I know Paulie appreciates it. I appreciate it. And the collecting and connecting community continues to grow, and I'm just grateful for that. Yeah. All right, here we go. NBA Hoops. This pack cost me $4. This is the kind of pack where you might get your money back. Let's see. 1990 basketball is blowing up right now. You might have seen Shaquille O'Neal prices are going berserk, and I know the reason why. All right, Jeff Wilson, the sports card investor, you might have noticed in the last few months he's gotten his wife involved, or she maybe wanted to be involved, and they've done a couple of videos where she's like gone around a trade show like in Dallas buying cards. Like, oh, I'm innocent, I don't know what's going on, but I love the hobby. I want to be like my son and embrace the hobby. So I respect that. I think it's great. Getting women involved in this hobby is a very key piece of 10X in the sport. I think parents getting more involved with their kids in sports cards is great for lots of different reasons. Kids are getting ripped off at shows for one, but also they should enjoy the hobby with them. So I commend Jeff Wilson and his wife. I think it's cool that they're doing that. Actually, I wish my wife enjoyed this hobby with me. It would be a lot of fun. I would love that. But anyway, she decided to start investing in Shaquille O'Neal cards. Now look, Jeff Wilson gets multiple thousands of views per video. And just like when Gary Vee says XYZ, if enough people see it, it could ignite a trend. So I think Jeff Wilson's wife is the reason why Shaq cards are going up. And by the way, I think it's deserved. Shaq had a great career. He's won championships. He's very, very popular. He's still relevant right now. He's a huge entrepreneur, which I respect him for. So yeah, why not? That's awesome. Brian Shaw. Oh, actually, guys, sorry. It's the Sacramento Kings, not the Kansas City Kings. I get literally excited for any Kansas City Kings card. But this is wild because this is when they moved or kept the same logo. The Sacramento Kings didn't rebrand for many more seasons, I guess. It was still the same uniforms, too, that off blue color. Buck Williams, he was good. I watched him a lot when he played with the New Jersey Nets. Adrian Dantley, he was like the slam dunk champion a couple times, I think. Scott Skiles, he was on my fantasy basketball team once or twice. Jim Peterson, Dave Corzine, Ralph Sampson. So in 1983, the first season of the Lost Franchises NBA 2K dynasty that I'm doing, he in real life, he was the rookie of the year. And in the game, he was really hard to play against in that first game, and he did make the All-Star team as a rookie. So, yeah, bright future for Ralph Sampson in my sim. Watch out for him. Paul Mokeski. Ooh, Danny Ainge. He had a really good career, did he not? Especially with the Celtics. Vern Fleming. That's awesome. Kevin McHale, All-Star. Now, is this worthy of the gallery? I don't know. I'm going to say yes. Purvis Short. I love those uniforms. I think it's cool that coaches get... Oh my God, look who it is. John Sumfield. He plays for the Kansas City Kings. I have his on-card auto that I got for like $1. So this card's worth like 10 cents, but that's so fucking awesome. Excuse my language. He plays for my team. See, that's worthless. Let's go to the gallery for sentimental reasons. Now that Kevin McHale card, to be honest, it does not look perfect. I see the edges right there. I was gonna say if this was a 10, if this could gem mint 10, maybe it would be extra special. What do you think? All right, moving on. Okay, so we've passed the 1 hour mark. We're at 1 hour, 13 minutes. We got almost 600 in the chat, so we're going to keep going. And I did think about making this a 1 hour show, and kind of it's a weekly show. It's 1 hour format, but it's still the Card Life Chronicles. And as you know, when I do these things, I'm happy if there's 5 people, 15 people, 600 people, doesn't matter. I'm grateful if anyone is joining me. And if I'm feeling good and the chats are live and having fun, then I'll keep going. So yeah, so when we hit the 1 hour mark, I was like, you know what, we're over 500, let's keep going. And I'm feeling great. I have the energy. I will want to take a quick break at some point and refill, but let's keep going, and we'll definitely go to 2 hours for sure. So let's have some fun. Next pack. Oh man, we've already opened one of these. So this is our second repeat of the night. You know what? I probably should have shaken up this box maybe a little bit better. This is 2005 Topps Archive Baseball. If you like baseball, I've been a guest on the High Hard One podcast on the Collecting and Connecting Network, hosted by Jay Destiny from the Hive. That's been an awesome show. We talk about mostly the business of baseball and off the field stuff, but as we get close to the playoffs, I'm sure we'll get more baseball centric. Now I think we only hit like 1,000 people at the last show. But the one before that, it's on Sunday nights at 7:30. We had 20,000 people in that chat. That's the largest amount of people that I've ever been on a live show with. So yeah, that was amazing. So yeah, check out the High Heart one on the Collecting Connecting Network. And don't forget, tomorrow night is the Poke Collective, a Pokemon podcast. I'm a supporting recurring guest in that one. But we had a great episode, 2 weeks ago, and this week should be a lot of fun too. There's Blake Snell. He's been injured. He pitched amazing when he got back. This is literally the exact same design, same team colors as my Willie Mays card. I love the anomalies. This was the same pack. You got the Blake Snell base with the black parallel. Whoa! Okay. Dude, this is sick. Tyler Locklear, on card, auto, at a 50, and it's an alternative design. What does that say? It's the Topps Archives Fan Favorites Certified Autograph Rookie Card. Tyler entered the MLB Pipeline Top 100 list in 2024. He was the 8th member of the Mariners to make the list, ranking number 79. He ripped home runs over 112 miles per hour in consecutive games in Tacoma in July. We got to pull up where this guy is now. That is our first auto of the night. Also the first numbered card of the night. We accomplished that in one fell swoop. It happens to also be just a beautiful gold parallel. That is so sweet. You do these shows and you want it to be entertaining, and you figure, well, hopefully the host is entertaining if the cards are not entertaining, because remember, we mentioned that 90% of packs are busts, so there's a risk that your show will not be entertaining, because if you're buying retail cards, you could get smoked a lot. But this is why we do it. This is why we do it, because every once in a while you hit one of those 2% cards. It's an absolute banger. Beautiful. That was super fun. And we're not even done with the pack. Ketel Marte. Let's talk about this guy. Now, I think he's actually technically injured. But Arizona's in the playoff race. He first spent a day, he went missing. He didn't report to the team, which is like an unspoken rule. You never can do that. You always show up, even if you're injured. And then the next night, while the team was playing, he was spotted on video at a local casino in Arizona. So he was not being a team player, Ketel Marte. Yikes. We'll have to let the baseball gods deal with him. Chris Bryant, Gary Uriel Jr., and Manny Machado. All right, next pack. Ooh, another double up. We've done 2 V-Friends, 2 Topps Archives. Now this is our second Pokemon. Again, I like all Pokemon. I gravitate towards the Japanese, Chinese, South Korean stuff because it's cheaper, and it's also different. It's fun, it's unique. So, yeah. So here we go. And I find that I've had good success pulling hits. And yeah, even though you can't read the name, you'll know a banger when you see a banger. Don't worry. I also know a bust when I see one, even if it's in Japanese. Ooh. O-Pee-Chee hockey. So I have a big rip session coming up for hockey. The time's not great. It's like end of summer, early fall. It's not hockey season yet. So I'm not sure we'll get a lot of interest, but I have to rip this stuff for my Card Life book for the storyline. But I have a bunch of blasters, all the different products from last year up until this year. And one of them happens to be O-Pee-Chee Platinum. So O-Pee-Chee, of course, is OG for hockey up in Canada. They have their base paper set, and they also have their Platinum set, which is like their chrome or optic, whatever. So let's hope we pull a Celebrini from the San Jose Sharks. My favorite player to watch right now. So I guess that card is maybe purple, not pink. But shout out to Michaela Bear. If you have not watched that interview from last week, go check it out on the Collecting Connecting YouTube channel, and also the Sports Card Collectors Club channel. She collects only pink cards, but this is close enough. That's a cool insert, and this is also a really good looking one too. So this one we're going to give as a shout out to Kayla, Michaela. Sorry, I also had Kayla Collects on my show. Interesting. So, and my daughter's name is Kayla, so a lot of Michaelas in my life. Got the Shedeur Sanders, Travis Hunter rookies. And this guy, Cole Caulfield, I just love the Sparkle Parallel. And giving a shout out to Michaela Bear. All right, that was a good pack. That was fun. Two good looking colored inserts there. Ooh. So this is fun, man. I've been editing the Basketball Gods Are Real. So anything basketball related right now, I'm loving it. Basketball, because of the Basketball Gods Are Real timing, will play a big role in my book, Volume 3 of the Card Life, which I'm now chronicling in this podcast series. So anyway, this is the inaugural edition of Skybox. Controversial. These have not been very valuable in the secondary market up until now. But I have a feeling if the 90s jug wax prices continue to move up, a lot of these cards, like the Jordan from this set, can eventually become very, very valuable. It's a great looking card. And if I recall, these cards come out in great quality. So let's take a look. Here we go. Skybox. What year it is? Forget. 1990, 91. Oh, Sam Bowie, the guy taken before Michael Jordan, who, by the way, did not give the rights to his name and likeness for the NBA 2K video game, which is interesting. It's not in the game, nor is Charles Barkley. Oh, yeah, these cards feel brand new. Sharp, heavy, like crispy edges. If that one doesn't, look at the centering is not perfect. This would not get a 10. There's Joe Klein. Miami Heat. Mark Price, he had a really good career. Ooh, Patrick Ewing. Is that a 10? Ron Rothstein, I don't remember him. I do remember Ron Cycli. He was the Rookie of the Year. Percy Hawkins. Phil Jackson. Mr. Triangle Offense. Byron Scott, important supporting cast member of the Lakers dynasty. J.R. Reed, cool Spurs logo. Charles Smith, that's a cool image. Sean Kemp. He could dunk, right? Tim McCormick. And then, yeah, Sam Bowie. Knicks just won their first championship in 53 years. I mentioned I grew up a Knicks fan, and when I think of the Knicks, I think of John Starks, and I think of Patrick Ewing and Charles Oakley. Ooh, all right. The Golf Gods Are Real. That book I dropped earlier this year. It came out in April. And that was a book that I wrote that book in like 6 months and edited it in 6 months and put it out. I had arthritis. I hadn't been playing golf for like over a decade. And then I had this like golf god experience at PJ West with my son a couple of winters ago. And I was like, oh yeah, I'm writing this book called The Golf Gods Are Real. And I basically took the formula from my other, God is Real books, and I quickly researched it. And actually, it was the first time I used AI to help me research, which was instead of using like Google and whatever. And it was very effective. And yeah, I popped that book out really quick, and I love that book. I'm really proud of it. Great book. So anyway, I started ripping golf cards to kind of please the golf gods to help write that book. Slight critic. You can't read the names very well unless you kind of rotate them. Wyndham Clark. Ooh, John Daly. Love those pants. Always dressing sharp. Look at that. Back to back. Another manufacturing anomaly. That probably should never happen, right? That's happened to us, I think, 3 times tonight. Michael Kim. Tom Hogue. Ooh. Got a Young Guns. So, for my original pack opening series, I still have all the videos on YouTube. Golf and hockey were my 2 most popular videos ever. And when it comes to the flip life, some of these Young Gun cards have been surprisingly very flippable. Just because they're obscure names to you doesn't mean that they're not people who know golf well. The OG in the hobby, though, in the golf game world for women is Annika Sorensen. She's probably one of the most majors of anybody. Brooke Henderson with the Dazzler. I love the Dazzler insert. Lexi Thompson looking stoic. Victor Hovland and Miles Russell. So when you pull a Young Guns card, you can't ever say it's a bust pad because Young Guns are the coveted rookie card of Upper Deck, and they're rare, they're hard to pull. And so when you pull one, you got to say thank you to Sports Card Gods. Ooh, all right. Junk Wax Hockey, 1990 Score NHL Premier Edition. Very cool. All right, let's do it. After this pack, we'll do one more question, and then we'll take a quick break at the 90-minute mark. I'll get a drink and refresh, whatever. Cam Neely. Back-to-back Bruins. Bob Carpenter. Peter Zazel. Rob Ramage. Francois Leroux, Edmonton Oilers. Prospect card. Ooh. NHL prospect card for Matt Sundin. Matt Sundin had a really good career, and if you played NHL 94 like I did in college, I was a freaking junkie. All my fraternity brothers and I, we played that game nonstop. And Matt Sundin played for the Quebec Nordiques, I recall, light blue jerseys, and he was really good. I wish someone would bring back NHL 94 in a big way. Like modern, like just those rosters, I guess. Michael Mongo, Christmas jerseys for the Devils, Christmas colors. There's Krutov, Randy Cunningworth. Rest in peace to the Hartford Whalers. Steve Leach, Craig Ludwig, Kelly Miller, Adam Graves, Dave Taylor. Can't call it a bust. We pulled 2 prospect cards in that pack. One was Quebec Nordiques, Matt Sundin. All right, let's pull a question. Whoa. You can only collect one category for the rest of your life. What is it? Anyone? You can only collect one category for the rest of your life. What is it? I know my answer. It's what Volume 4 is about. It'd be Junk Wax. Now, to be fair, I would, if I had to be more specific, I would say Junk Wax Baseball, but that book is going to be about the 4 main sports, football, baseball, basketball, hockey. But just that genre of Junk Wax. Why? Because that's the age I grew up. That's the players and the time that give me the most warm, fuzzy feelings of nostalgia. So yeah, I would probably say Junk Wax era, and if I'd be more specific, I would go with baseball. All right, one more pack before our break. Woo, 3rd Pokemon. Let's go. Pokemon Gods Are Real. Now on pre-sale, the ebook. Oh, maybe that should be the next book I put out on So I've already recorded free audiobooks for Volume 1 of the Republic Baseball League and Volume 1 of Spirits of the Gridiron. I was thinking of what I would do next. And maybe the Pokemon Gods Are Real would be a great choice. Give that some thought. Bus back. Okay, we're at the 1:30 mark. That's an hour. That's 90 minutes into this thing. This has been a lot of fun so far. I hope you've had as much fun as I am. I'm going to put on the loop of my flagship podcast, and I'll be back in a few minutes. Just going to freshen up my drink and use the restroom, stuff like that, and we'll be back shortly. Let's keep track. Right now, there's 584 in the chat. Let's see what it is when we get back. You guys take care. Stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. It's kind of like a set break when you go to a fish show. Those are 15-minute break in between the show, in between the sets. So that was set 1. Set 2 coming up. Don't go anywhere. Back soon. You guys take care. Stay here. Don't go anywhere. God bless.
This month, we have some great sports card stories from across the U.S. and talk to an author from nearby Leawood, Kansas, who has written a book about returning to collecting after 3 decades away.
My day job is I'm a financial advisor, so I've been investing for over 20 years. And a way to express my love for the hobby, I decided, what if I write an investment book, Sports Card Collectors Club, and treat the stock market the same way I would treat the card market. And so I thought, well, how would a day trader invest in cards? How would a venture capitalist buy and sell cards? How would a hedge fund do it? As I would go through my trials and tribulations, I realized that for as much fun as I was having investing, there was something missing. And one day I was watching the Royals game on television, and it was a rain delay. And the Card Life television show came on. I was watching that episode, I was watching Matt Strom open cards and rip packs, and I started getting the warm, fuzzy feeling. I said, this is what I want to be doing. I want to get back to really collecting and ripping cards and building sets. And that's when the story of my book has changed. I go from investing back to collecting.
I'll also open a variety of boxes from different sports. So he hit the home run off me in like the 7th inning. And then in the 8th inning, JT hit a double, so he's standing on second. And Mason Wynn asked him, he's like, hey JT, he's like, I heard Strom collects cards of guys that take him deep. He's like, does that mean he's gonna send me over a couple cards to sign tomorrow? And after the game, we had won. I mean, winning is the only thing that's important to me. So it's like, I was good after the game, whatever, and JT comes up to me and he's like, hey Stromy, he was really genuine. Like he wasn't taking shots. And I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, well, when I got to second, Mason asked if you're gonna send a card over for him.
I'm just looking around my basement here, just walls covered with concert posters and toys, and just like, I have no intention of selling these things. I collect because I want to show off the things I love and do it in fun ways. And it just never crossed my mind that, hey, I'm going to go buy this thing just so I can resell it. Like that to me isn't a pure collector mentality. And obviously things change and times change. And, in order for things to survive right now, you have to have that sort of chase for something valuable.
Yeah, it needs to be a circus. You know what? The truth is, I actually watched the live stream on eBay Live with Ken Golden and Logan Paul. They ripped a box of 86 Flair and a box of Series 1 Pokemon. And you know what? It was very entertaining. They're both polarizing characters. I thought it was entertaining. But you know what? After every pull, they immediately are showing the value. And and it begs the question, are we creating, not we, is the industry creating a gambling culture which has a real downside?
It already has. Right. Not created. It's here.
Yeah, and that's a concern. I guess for me, I hope to be an influence where we focus more on collecting, because you know what, when markets crash, collectors don't get hurt at all. Because the Sandy Koufax you bought that because it makes you feel good. It brings back good memories.
Said this one traded for my first big win. Jonathan sank on the line tonight.
You have created community, so let's talk about that. I went to Rip Night at your shop. Let's rip it on the pack. And I went to your Rip Night 2 years ago, and it was one of the best. I wrote about it in Volume 1. It was one of the best times I've ever had. You guys had this giant scoreboard where you had the chase cards, and everyone can buy whatever product you wanted, like buy 3, get 1 free, whatever product, whatever it was. You then, if you pull a Bronny James, you then get another blaster. Or I pulled a Reed Shepherd auto, and then I got a free T-shirt. And I sat around the table with strangers and had the best time ever. So let's talk about how important community is, and what you guys do is provide an anchor for community in our town. How important that is.
Yeah, definitely. You know, like you said, one of our taglines, we say we'll make an offer on anything, but like you said, I mean, we got to pay what it's worth, and so if it's junk wax, it's going to be junk wax prices, which unfortunately, you know, a lot of people end up thinking that their 87 Topps Barry Bonds is going to be a couple $100 or
it's
something.
worth nothing, people.
Brand and notoriety. And so when you're pitching these stories to these athletes, like I've reached out to a couple of different athletes about writing a potential article about their collections and having them kind of share their story. And it's like, yes, like I write for collectibles on SI, which is under the Sports Illustrated umbrella. It does carry weight. Like it does, people recognize that brand. It is important. And so I'm super grateful that I've been given the opportunity to write for that staff.
The top segment that was done by you on you was so well produced, right? Did all that come from the conversation you had with Michael Rubin? Is that how that put you on the map to such an extent that all those opportunities happened? How did that happen? Did you get a call one day?
Said this one traded for my first big win. Jonathan sank on the line tonight with a pack in hand and a story that bites.
I didn't even collect when I was 3 years old, like when this card came out, but you just pulled a good one. Roman Anthony, you know, from Dempsey. I love Wichita State. Yeah. I would have been thrilled if he went to Tulane, but his parents have roots in Nebraska. So for him, it was coming home. And so Nebraska got a good one. And so I'm not surprised that program's on the rise because they got a great stadium. They have great resources. They got a great fan base with people like you. And their recruiting is fantastic. They're finding the talented kids. So
yeah, in fact,
the Big Ten.
So yeah, Will Bolt, the head coach, he actually played at Nebraska when I was traveling with the Nebraska team in the late '90s. He was down at Texas A&M when I worked at Texas A&M. Rob Childress is the pitching coach, and I was on the hiring committee that hired him away from Nebraska to come down at Texas A&M, and they're thrilled that he's back here in Nebraska. He's a genius. The number of players in pro ball right now that went through Rob Childress, so he'll be under good guidance when he gets up here to Nebraska. They're good people.
One kid found a mantle in the rain. One old friend came back with the same old chain.
Talk to me about the reaction of the players, the other players, when they see this bat putter. Are they flipping out? They freak out when they see it?
And they see it and they're like, they just stop. Yeah, let's go. Yeah.
So the reason why I asked that question is because I had that experience literally yesterday. So when I first got the bat putter, I think I bought it 6 months ago, and it's customized for the Republic Baseball League, which is so cool. And now that I realize, now that I love it so much, and I got to use it yesterday, I'm like, I got to start buying them for different people. Like anyone's a guest on my show, they're gonna get a bat putter, okay? Yeah. But the point is, I never use it because I thought it was too sacred to me. I keep it in my office like a sacred shrine. It means so much to me. But then I was like, after watching all these videos and stuff like that, I'm like, you know what? There's this indoor amazing place in Kansas City called Tap-Ins. Okay, they have an outdoor putt, but also indoor. And depending on the weather, the whole thing, it's amazing atrium, and it's become a successful business. Yeah. And I was like, you know what? That's a perfect. It was a hot day. I'm like, it's a perfect thing to do. So my buddy Paul Greenwood, who I featured in my first book, we went and played around. And when I showed up with this bat putter, people were freaking out. They were literally losing their minds, and that's when I realized. So then, and then, by the way, it was a Sunday, middle of the day, hot as heck. I want to see how it gets made, but you probably do actually.
I want to see if there's quality control testers there.
But you know, attention! If anyone at the Tops is watching, Grip and Rip we want to get invited to a tour at a factory. The two of us.
I told them I would work for free.
Right.
I would work absolutely free. I want to see how their stuff's made.
Yeah, I'm curious. But like collation is like I'm sure there's a bunch of engineers that sit around and design.
Got some breaking news for you.
Yeah.
Slab just texted me.
No way. What do you say? The
Looks like this is the first year to hear it. Who is that? Right. Let me see here.
Breaking news. Grip and Rip. Breaking news.
Oh, U.S. agent. Okay, so I just got told that the finest mega boxes are going to be really, really, really good.
Oh, interesting.
1.6 numbered cards a box. So you're guaranteed one numbered card with a 60% chance to pull a second numbered card.
Wow,
And
interesting.
Autos are 1 in 3.
Whoa. So do you think that Topps decided to go big because this is their first year with Topps Finest in retail?
I'm going to say yes. Yes.
Right? Because
I do think so.
You usually get so upset with the delayed numbers, they're delaying them. Or maybe, by the way, I don't know if it's a conspiracy that the odds are coming out later. I just feel that maybe they're just not as efficient as they used to be.
You might have watched this game back
I'm
when,
sure I did.
Currently,
yeah,
it's
Derek
only
Coleman. Yeah, he was on my fantasy team for sure.
pretty crazy to think, in the future you would be able to collect that moment that you watched.
Right. And by the way, check that out. It's worth $198 versus the ones that are worth 35 cents because it makes sense. Because the same way that you value your 1964 Willie Mays card, you're going to value your Drazen Petrovic, and you're not going to want to give it up unless it's for a very, very good price because you love that memory. And what's wild is the same way that you get the warm, fuzzy feeling with dopamine hit, whatever, when you look at a card on your shelf, it's the same thing. But when you're online at the bank, you don't have your cards with you, Paulie, but you do have your phone, and you can pull up your Drazen Petrovic and pay respect to him and watch a couple of his awesome plays that give you the warm fuzzies because you can. It's wild. And so
This month, we have some great sports card stories from.
all right, I'm back. Ready for round 2, second set. So real quick, I just picked up all the wrappers. Wanted to show you, so we count how many packs we've been through. I don't see. The very first thing we did was the V Friends pack, and we eventually ripped 2, but I only see 1 so far. But that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, excuse me, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And if you're new to the group, the best hit so far is this. Tyler Locklear, on-card auto, gold parallel out of 50. Pretty sweet. The rest of the cards are mostly sentimental. All right, let's keep going. Another Topps Chrome. Chris Godwin, Joe Burrow, Sean Gary. Can't pronounce that guy's name, but I like those all blue uniforms. That's sweet. Another bust pack from Topps Chrome Football. Shocker. Oh, man. Okay. So check this out. 2026 Topps Prospects Limited Edition Trading Cards. The International League and the Pacific Coast League. This is sweet. Okay, so I got invited by Paulie from the What Do You Collect podcast, Collecting Connecting Network, to go to the NBA Top Shot event for Summer League this past July. Such a good time. Everything was amazing. The community of NBA Top Shot was terrific. The games themselves were amazing. And just enjoying Vegas. I've not been to Vegas in like 30 years, so it was really a lot of fun. And I got to go to a AAA Las Vegas Aviators game. And I bought some stuff in the gift shop, and I forgot about this one, and it never made it into an episode. And this is what I pulled out of the box. So let's give this a go. You might not recognize any of these names, but maybe there's an auto, maybe there's a number card, or maybe there's a name or two that we will recognize. It's cool. It is licensed. If you look at the back, it's got all the cool logos. If you read my fictional novel series, The Republic Baseball League, Professor Kevin Dempsey envisions a world where baseball becomes promotion relegation. All the minor league teams break free from the system of MLB baseball, and they all join this giant promotion relegation league. Hey, I gotta blow my nose real quick. I have some congestion. Be right back. Sorry. Our son Nate is a sophomore at KU. He's been gone for like a week, and he came home last night to I don't know, get some things, do some things. Oh, he had a couple of local appointments, whatever. So we got to see him, and he came home and he totally had like a cold. Like he had like a runny nose, and he was all congested. And you know, college kids, they're all sharing stuff, whatever. So I hope this is not the beginning of me getting sick. I'm just saying. If it is, you know how I got sick. Anyway. Let's open this. See how we do. It's kind of like a hanger box. It's kind of one pack. Ricky Tiedemann from the Buffalo Bisons. Whoa. Okay, so Braden Montgomery, Charlotte Knights. Where's Jay Destiny from the Hive? You watching this right now? Braden Montgomery made it to the show. This is a good card, dude. Wow. That is sweet. Ralphie Velasquez. Brody Hopkins. Every card is a different design. Owen Murphy from the Gannett Stripers. Whoa, look at this. Connor Griffin. Connor Griffin is one of like the big, oh my God. Jackson Wiggins. He pitched for Arkansas. Our neighbor Robert Moore played for Arkansas, and we watched Arkansas baseball very closely when Robert Moore played there. Jackson Wiggins also doesn't get mentioned by name, but when I did the Republic Baseball League book series to help me write the book, I had to create a league, and I used the Out of the Park Baseball software to do that. And of course, in the story, I use certain players and I feature them, but you can't mention like every single player. And in the sim, there were players that I had to use that weren't mentioned, but I tried to find players that I still had some relationship to. And Jackson Wiggins played on that team. I haven't played in a while, and I might not play for some time, but I have a Twitch account and a Dynasty franchise I'm doing called the Republic Baseball League, where I took the Oakland A's and I liquidated their roster and I rebranded them the Wichita Crows, which are featured in my book series, the RBL. And the first year I just play with free agents, the worst team ever. By year two, I'm able to trade and free agent and start to get some of the players that I feature in the book, like my neighbor Robert Moore, Christian Franklin, Brent Suter, Jorge Lopez, a lot of players that are in the book. Jackson Wiggins is the kind of player that I would love to have on that team, but because he's played for the Kansas City Crows in my sim, but didn't make the book. But that's super, super cool. The point is, there are all these random minor leaguers, and I don't know Jackson Wiggins personally, but I've watched him pitch in college. I mean, I know who he is, you know. He doesn't know who I am, I don't think. Thomas White from the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimps. The team names from the minor league teams are awesome. Tucker Davidson from the Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs, big lefty. Edwin Arojo, Louisville Bats, top prospects. They're all top prospects. Holy shit. Joshua Baez, sound familiar? This dude got called up, hit 3 home runs in a day. His 101 Superfractor sold for $100,000. Then he went over 18. This has been an insanely fun pack after all. And I've been sitting on this for months, since July. Cooper Pratt, and I love the designs. Every card is like a different design. It's amazing. And the jerseys, look at this. Creed Williams from the Norfolk Tides. Oh my God. Oh my God. Ben Kudera. I watched Ben Kudera pitch in high school. He pitched for Blue Valley West. He was amazing. I watched his whole career. He plays for the Wichita Crows. He's in the book. He's in my starting rotation right now for my Republic Baseball League franchise, and he's been pitching really well, even though he's a rookie, obviously. And I called him up super early because my team is really thin. This is amazing. The Republic Baseball League gods are with us tonight. Ben Kudera. I think he's a year away from getting called up to the show in real life. Wow, look at this. Connor Griffin, Jackson Wiggins, Joshua Baez, Ben Kudera, Brady Montgomery. Oh, here's another one. Dylan Cruz. Dylan Cruz played for LSU with Paul Skeens. They were picked 1 and 2 in the draft. First time two teams were picked 1 and 2. Got off to a bad start, went down to AAA. Just got called up again. He's been playing much better. That is sick. He was a big chase card in Bowman not too long ago. Wow. Oh my God. Another one. Paulie, are you still watching? George Lombardi Jr. Are you kidding me? The Scranton Wilkes-Barre Rail Riders. He just got called up, and he's been amazing starting at shortstop for the Yankees. This guy will be playing in the playoffs in just a few weeks with the Yankees. This 21-year-old phenom. Wow. This has been the best pack ever. If you know Bowman, like if you follow guys like Jab's family, he says Walker Jenkins, another big name. What a beautiful! These are the coolest cards ever. Now, maybe you have to be a real baseball fanatic like me. I love prospects. If you follow my Kevin Dempsey account on Twitter, you know how much I love scouting. Started doing it for fun with my son's friends. And then I started to scout other kids. And it's been a lot of the kids that I've scouted have made it to college baseball. Have made it to the show. Max Clark. What are you doing? The Mud Hens. This is amazing, dude. I don't know how rare these cards are, but they might be pretty rare because it's like, the Worcester Red Sox, Peyton Tolley. Garrett Hawkins from the El Paso Chihuahuas. Tommy White, Las Vegas Aviators. Shout out to the Aviators. Tommy White also played for LSU. He was really good in college. Not gallery worthy, I don't think. James Tibbs III, Oklahoma City Comets. They used to be the Oklahoma City Drillers, were they not? I don't know this guy, but Lou James Groover. Cameron Cawley would be Round Rock Express. I've been to that AAA stadium. Super nice. Sacramento River Cats. Kasich Carson Wisenhunt. I would love to rip like a hobby box full of this stuff, man. Nelson Rada. Ethan Pecco from the Space Cowboys. And Brock Rodden from the Tacoma Rainiers. That was so much fun. I put up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 cards. Now, maybe it's because I have so many cards that were sentimental to me. Obviously, those cards might be worth nothing. They could be worth a lot because some of those guys are big names. But, wow, that was a lot of fun. All right, let's do a hat. Let's do a hat question. Almost running out. We're going to go through them all tonight, I guess. What's the strangest place you've ever found a collectible? Strangest place I ever found a collectible. This is Card Shop in Belton, Missouri, which is south of Kansas City, probably like 20, 30 minutes. Pretty small town. I'd first been there because my son did a tryout once with a baseball team down in Belton. Oh, hey, Drew FTV. What's up, dude? Cheers to you too, my friend. Good to see you, man. What's up? Welcome back. Thanks for joining. And there's this little card shop down there that, like, it's like really old. It's very, very small. It's like destroyed inside, like a bomb went off. And I love the old junk wax stuff, you know. So like I found a bunch of really old boxes. A lot of the boxes when I ripped junk wax in my very first sports card book, Volume 1, I found some of those boxes there in Belton, Missouri. I can't remember the name of the place, but it's like old, small, dusty, grungy. Like it should be out of business. But I found some really good gems there. I can't even remember specifically because it's just like a bunch of like different random stuff. But that'd be my best answer to that question. So far, this is our stack, guys. All the cards that we've ripped that didn't make it to the gallery. All right, next pack. Here we go. Shoebox sessions continue. More golf. Let's pull a Young Guns. Let's pull some Tiger Woods. Chapter about Tiger Woods in my Golf Gods Are Real book. What's ironic is that I write about how like his rise and his fall and then his comeback, and then the book came out and then he got arrested again for drunk driving and had to go to rehab. And so it's like, I guess the golf gods are not done with Tiger Woods yet. I don't think it's affected his card values though. Actually, you know, surprisingly. Lilia Vu. Max Homa. I mean, he still is by far and away the most popular golfer of his generation. And I think he's still beloved. Keita Nakajima. Legendary card, Jim Furyk. He used to play when I was a kid. Lydia Ko. Swing plane insert. Brooke Henderson with the canvas. This card literally feels different than the others. It feels like a kind of canvas vibe. One of my favorite inserts is the score card, but I feel like the stats should be from real events and it should have the tournament and the round. So I think this card has a lot of potential, but they should do that with like make it numbered. That'd be sick. Matthew Pavin, Christo Lamprick, Sam Bennett, Emiliano Grillo, and Hideki Matsuyama. Bus pack. The chat is holding in tight at 589. That's almost 600. That's a lot of people, guys. Thank you so much. I hope you're having fun, hanging out, seeing the cards we're pulling. I hope you like the shoebox format and where every pack is random. Instead of just kind of like opening a hobby box. I will be doing that too with my show, but for the every other Tuesday night show at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 o'clock Central, if you guys still love it, we'll keep doing the shoebox sessions format. I enjoy it. Ooh, 2025 Topps Update base paper, not chrome. Alex Bregman. So I don't have a huge PC of Alex Bregman, but I really love Bregman. He was playing, I think, at the time for the Houston Astros as an away team when my son and I had front row seats from our cousins. And it was when my first book came out, and my son was about to get bar mitzvahed, and Bregman's Jewish, and so we had a whole conversation with them, and I gave him a signed copy of Baseball Gods Are Real Volume 1, which he brought us to the dugout. I don't know if he ever read it or not, but I gave it to him. And he signed a bunch of stuff for my son. He signed balls for him and cards for him. And that was like one of the most special moments in my son's like life. And for me too, to watch my son get to meet one of his heroes, and the hero actually delivered and was as cool as you hoped he would be. There's an old expression, you don't never meet your heroes because they'll let you down. But not with Alex Bregman. He was total mensch, as they say. Absolute gentleman. Love Alex Bregman. Will forever be grateful to him. and I wish him nothing but the best in his career. Robert Garcia, Garrett McDaniels, Braxton Ashcraft, rookie, Kristen Campbell, rookie debut, Edgar Guerrero, rookie, Mick Abel, rookie card. He collects cards, by the way. He did a session with Matt Strom on the Card Life, the show that I was on. Jack O'Laughlin, Logan Allen, City Boys, Brent Beatty, Chase Dollinger, Busback. Except for the little sentimental pregnant. Pokemon. So far, this is our fourth Pokemon pack so far now. We have not hit anything good yet. Pokemon is like that. You can go through a cold streak that could last years. And then you'll hit a God pack, you know. Cute. Cute. What? Slightly different, but the same. Ooh, Pokemon again. Cute. Cute. Whoa, this is a cool holo. Kind of looks like a Mojo Refractor, does it not? And Booyah. Full art. Very nice. That is sweet. I mean, this one was pretty cool too, but not one of my favorite characters, and it's kind of dark and scary. But this works. Finally, we pulled a cool Pokemon card worthy of the gallery. This one, I do love that design. If you can get that design on one of your favorite characters, that'd be amazing. My favorite character is Pichu, by the way. You don't pull him very often. Oh, I need more stands. All right, let's do a question. All right, by the way, we hit the 2-hour mark. Now, there was a time when 2 hours was my longest live ever, but I've since surpassed that. I think it was for V-Friends, but I have done a 3-hour stream, so we'll see if we can tie that. That would be a pretty epic way to start this series. All right, here we go. Finish this sentence. Collectors spend way too much time worrying about... I mean, my first reaction is collectors or investors, because I think, like, they might worry about different things. But if you're talking about collectors spend way too much time worrying about. Maybe their cards getting stolen. I know that card shops have been getting broken into all over the country. Tom Brady's card vault just opened in San Francisco. 1 week later, they were burglarized. Vendors have been followed out of card shows and have been held up at gunpoint and had their cards stolen. So right now, collectors are probably worrying about keeping safe at these events and their cards being safe, and they're probably worrying too much about it because it hasn't happened that often yet, and hopefully it's not a trend. So for those who are really worried about it, it's probably too soon to overreact about it. But if it continues, it's a problem. I think the crime is a reflection of the prices because people are seeing dollar signs. They see $1 million bounties for Dylan Harper rookie patch autos, and it seems like a no-brainer if you're a bad guy to go rob a store that's got Pokemon cards in there, with a bunch of PSA 10s or sealed wax. So, because it's as valuable as jewelry now, is it not? So if the economy slows, if the hobby slows, if prices come down dramatically, then I think you're going to see scalpers go away and the crime will rotate somewhere else because it wouldn't be worth their while to rob a card shop when you can rob something else, right? So, but I think that that's one of the things that a lot of collectors are worrying about, and I think it is a real concern, but they're probably worrying too much about it. And worrying is really bad energy and creates lots of stress, and stress can literally give you cancer. So worry less, be more optimistic and hopeful, and pray for sports guard protection. All right, next pack. Another Pokemon. I don't know why. Maybe I'll shake up the box again. There must have been a few Pokemon around top there. But I kind of know what they feel like. Maybe I'll just grab a different kind next time. Happened again. Forget his name. But he's not the guy you're chasing. And I think these are Chinese. These are Chinese letters, right? I think it's so cool that Pokemon has had so much success that it's so global that they have it in multiple languages. That's just an amazing accomplishment. Sorry, every time I look at this card, I feel like it should be in the gallery. I just have a feeling about this card. Ooh. I'm editing a basketball guys book right now, so I'm thinking about the NBA constantly. So this is fun. I love basketball. It was my worst sport growing up. I'm very short. I always joke that I'm 5'5" on a good day. I'm really like 5'4". So you gotta be really extra good if you're gonna be successful at basketball when you're that short. And I was good. I was tenacious. I played good defense. I thrived more playing, baseball and soccer. In fact, soccer I was particularly good because that's like, I was like Messi. I could not like Messi, but I was fast. And so you can be small and fast in soccer and be really effective. That was where I definitely had my most success. I was actually recruited to play Division III soccer, and it got to the point where Brandeis Division III was recruiting me and calling me. Coach Coven was calling me all the time, and he finally invited me for the campus visit. And I remember in that last conversation, I was like, "Can we talk more about the everyday life of a player?" And when I realized how hard it is to be an athlete, how hard they work, the time commitment year round, I was like, I think I want to be a normie. I'm going to pass. And so I declined the visit. And that's when I realized I'm not going to pursue college sports. And I'm glad I made the choice I made. I loved being a normie at Tulane, and I played for my fraternity intramural sports. So I eventually got the competitive fix. Anyway, X-Man, Xavier McDaniels, one of my favorite players ever, one of the best passers of all time, John Stockton. Speaking of being short, I already own on my NBA Top Shot account Spud Webb and Muggsy Bogues because they were both, 5'6". Listen, how tall was he? 5'3". Come on. This guy's my freaking hero, Muggsy Bogues. I hope they get him on my Lost Franchises NBA 2K team, even if he's on my second team. I got to get him on my team. There's Fred Roberts. Reggie Theus, he's kind of a journeyman, but he can shoot the ball. Wasn't really great at playing defense, but he can score 20 points a game. Dave Corzine. I do love this time because the first fantasy sport I ever played was fantasy basketball in high school. So, and I watched a lot of basketball because of that, you know. And so these names are so much fun. Benoit Benjamin. And then look who it is. Dale Ellis. So I already pulled a John Sunvold, but Dale Ellis I've been super collecting because he's part of my PC. He's on my starting five of my Kansas City Kings team on NBA 2K. I'm starting in 1983 and playing all the way to modern day. And he was a little inconsistent early in the season, but he has scored so many threes that he's become the all-time leading scorer in Kansas City's history. And he made the three-point contest at the All-Star game. And that is super awesome. Dale Ellis. So that card is worthless, but obviously for me, it's got a lot of sentimental value. John Paxton. Phil Jackson. Karl Malone is a controversial one. One of the best of all time, but never won a championship. But then he kind of had a situation with an underage girl, I think, while he was playing. So that's kind of tarnished his reputation. Got to make good choices, everyone. David Wingate. Whoa! You guys remember Danny Ferry? What a really strange photo. What the hell's going on here? Look at this. Did he get to approve that, or get to? He wouldn't have approved that. That's the Danny Ferry rookie card. That's the weirdest thing ever. Holy cow! What's going on there? That's too much. AC Green, he was a really important role player on those awesome Laker teams. And then Eddie Johnson, I like those uniforms, those shorts. Yeah, just I mean, I spent so much time of my life focusing on baseball. I definitely was a collector of focusing on baseball. And then the last 10 years of my life, being a baseball dad with my son, he was focused on baseball all the time. So we were very, very focused on baseball, and that's probably where the Republic Baseball book series kind of came out of because I was so consuming all things baseball for so long. But now that series is over, it's been fun to kind of do different stuff, and I'm had so much fun working on the Basketball Gods Are Real, and then getting back into other kinds of cards besides just baseball, and didn't get to rip a lot of basketball when I was a kid, so it's been a lot of fun doing it now as an adult. Ooh, I pulled a really strange one. I definitely know where I got. Well, I could have gotten this from one or two places. From one of the local trade shows, where there's a guy who brings junk wax, random packs. And then at the unopened Pac-Man store, they have weird stuff like this. And if it was super cheap, I might have just bought it one time and forget about it, and then it's been in my box forever. And now it's time to pull it. U.S. Olympic Card Hall of Fame Series, saluting America's greatest Olympic champions. $1992. All right, here we go. Charles Daniels for swimming. Whoa, this one's actually super awesome. Dude, if you follow U.S. hockey, which of course I do, and I wrote The Hockey Gods Are Real, and I have a chapter about miracles, and so of course I wrote about Coach Herb Brooks, but I've never seen him as a former player. But he was the coach of the Miracle on Ice team when the U.S. Defeated Russia. Wow, that is freaking sick. That is really beautiful. That's so cool. It's wow. The card is in color. His photo is in black and white. Yeah, that's fun. So when I'm going to create a summary tomorrow of my favorite pulls. I'm not going to show all of them because I only can make so many in the GIF. But it's going to be really tricky to figure out which ones are going to make the favorites. Here's Jim McKay, special commentator. Another special commentator, Asa Smith Bushnell. Weightlifter, John Davis. Bob Bamone, athletics, it just says. W. Parry O'Brien doing the shot put. Alvin Cranesline. 1964 men's basketball team. This one is one of the marathon guys. It's Frank Schroeder in color. John B. Kelly Sr. for rowing. Eric Hayden for speed skating in color. Checklist. Bobby Joe Morrow. Looks like he's in a relay race. And then Lee Calhoun, also a runner. Huh. This reminds me, this is like such a random pack, but it's still kind of fun. I do have a couple of curveballs coming for you guys in the Card Life Volume 3 book when I get to my non-sports card section. And I'll give you a hint. It's political cards. So some of you will not find that interesting at all. But if you know me, I was a poli-sci major in college. My character, Kevin Dempsey, who's basically my alter ego, he's a political economy professor. I've always loved politics. Yeah, that's good. That's going to be fun to rip. I can't wait to see what we pull there. I did see what got me interested in that and made me realize I saw that Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, known as AOC, the congressman from the Bronx, she has a 101 card that sold for $1.1 million. And I was like, oh, Gary Vee's right again. Non-sports cards blowing up. Ooh, okay. So this is 2026 Panini Prism Team USA. I remember these cards were not well produced. They come out all concave or convex. In the other years, there's some really, really cool cards and players like Paul Skeens and Dylan Cruz and whatever. I bought a whole high box of this from a card show. These are some of the leftovers. I did not recall seeing any players that I was familiar with, even though I know a lot of the kids out there. The best we can hope for is pulling like a legend card, which is like a former Team USA player, like a Bobby Witt or maybe a Paul Skeens, and maybe we'll pull a crazy auto or something. We'll see. Sports card gods, give us some good luck. Let's see. Yeah, okay. Matthew Fernandez. Cole Coniger. Lucas Moore. That one looks bent. Max Bayless. Colton Floyd with a parallel. Matthew Sharman. Yeah, here we go. So this is an example. Kevin McGonigal. Kevin McGonigal might win Rookie of the Year this year. He's the rookie for the Detroit Tigers. He signed a mega multi-year deal before the season started. Probably not worth anything, but that's cool to pull something like that. At least it's a familiar name. Derek Vasquez, Ethan Norby, Brody Crane, Anthony Frosto III, and Tommy Lepore. So once again, no players we know. And yeah, you can see here, look at these cards. So like, they're not totally flat, but they are sharp and crisp at the edges. I don't know if that would hurt them if it came to grading. All right. Another golf one. This is our third golf pack, guys. I did open a hobby box of that upper deck box of golf, and I guess I had a lot left over. Maybe? I don't know. It seems like I have. I actually have another hobby box to rip for the Card Life Chronicles book series in Volume 3, so get used to more golf coming from me. Parker Cooney. Charlie Hoffman, Gordon Sargent, Tom Hogue, National Heroes, Caleb Scott from Scotland, Canvas with Wyndham Clark, Deke Matsuyama scorecard. If you notice, it's not so easy to pull a Young Guns. So that's why you gotta sub it when you pull them. Yeah, bust. All right, let's do a question, guys. Tell me about a collectible that means almost nothing financially, but everything emotionally. Give it some thought. Yeah, I got something. I'm going to show it to you. So I mentioned I love politics. I always have. In my very, very first book, The Baseball Gods Are Real, my true life story kind of thing, I write about how I was class president for, I think, 3 years in a row in high school, first in my school to ever do that. I then was involved in student politics at Tulane in college. And for a period of time, I thought I might even pursue a career in politics. And then I chose to go in the music industry, and then Wall Street, and then now I'm an author. But I must have instilled my love of politics in my kids, because my daughter eventually did pursue a career in politics, and she had internships in high school, and I helped her out with all that stuff. And then she went to George Washington University, a school known for politics, and she thrived and worked for 2 senators. She worked for the Congress Oversight Committee. She worked for Fox News twice. She worked in the White House under the Trump administration, and now she's working for Fox News full time. And she went there every year. There's a famous tradition in D.C. where the Republicans and Democrats play a baseball game against each other, and they hand out baseball cards of the congressmen and senators. And so she gave me these 2 as a gift when she went to the game. So obviously these 2 senators. Now what's weird is that Sharice Davids is our local congressman. So out of all the cards that she was given these 2, and it was her local congressman. Total coincidence, total synchronicity, golf, political gods are real kind of vibe. Anyway, so I keep these 2 because it's non-sports cards, and it's politics, which is kind of fun. I love politics, and it's Democrat and Republican, but more importantly, it was a gift from my daughter. So that's why I love it. So yeah. Andrew Clyde and Sharice Davids. And I like Sharice Davids with her pink socks and her pink bat. That's awesome. She's cool. Good for her. All right. Only 2 more questions left in the hat. Many more packs to go, but we won't rip all night. Here's the next one. Oh. I'll tell you right now, I'm not looking forward to this. This I bought as a mistake. I was writing The Golf Gods Are Real. I wanted to be consuming all things golf. And I was up at a card show in Shawnee, Kansas. And there's this very weird Walmart up there that for some reason has the best inventory of sports cards and non-sports. Huge. Always stocked. I don't know why. And the craziest, cool, eclectic, weird stuff. Not close to my house. I don't get up there very often. So then when I'm over there, even though I'm already at a card show all day, I'll stop at this Walmart. And I saw this, and I thought the blaster box was for golf because it's got Tiger on it. It turned out it's not. It's a non-licensed Skybox Metal Universe Champions pack, and it's weird stuff. So let's just find out what it's all about. Maybe it'll surprise us. Yeah, these are not nasty. This is a Carter Graham non-licensed baseball. Francis Marshall. This guy looks like he's a UFC fighter dude. Bo Nickel. He's a professional wrestler. Whoa! What is his name? Bobby Fink? What? Now, I spell mine F-I-N-K. This is F-I-N-K-E, but I'm guessing the E is silent. (6'1", went to Florida, born 1999, the year my wife and I got married. Fink's outstanding 2003 included setting American records in the 800 free and 1500 free. He's a swimmer. And moving into the top 3 all time in the 1500. A Fink. Is that weird or what? There's a German musician named Fink as well. And a couple of soccer players in Germany that are named Fink. Trinity Rodman. This is Dennis Rodman's daughter. She's arguably the best player in college. Sorry, in NWSL right now. Golfer, and then unlicensed quarterback. Oh, it looks like it's Oregon, I think. Well, for a pack that I thought was going to be gross, I pulled a Fink card. That's pretty humorous, right? Ooh, something new, fun. Flagship edition, Topps 2025-26. Champions League, Europa League, Conference League cards. So it's paper with probably maybe a little chrome mixed in. Let's pull a Yamin Yamal. Sporting. Right team, wrong player. I love how soccer has one name for players like Cucho, Man City, Reagan Heskey, Manchester City, rookie card, Trophy Chasers. That's cool. Leandro Santos. And Marcus Thurman. That's a bus pack, guys. Ooh, another new one. Good. It's fun. It's no problem getting repeats, but for a shoebox session, I want it to be random and eclectic, and so I gotta do a good job mixing that box up and pulling different stuff. So here we go again. This is something brand new. We got 2025 Panini Prism draft picks. So we got Archie Manning and Travis Hunter on the covers. Let's see. Let's pull an Archie Manning. I think Archie Manning's going to have an amazing season, and then therefore the next year's draft class with him could be like insane, right? Because like as good as Evan Mendoza is, and his cards are really popular right now, I think Archie Manning is going to be like Cooper Flag level popularity. These cards look great. Damian Martinez. It's weird they have rookie cards for college. They shouldn't do that. They could have a top prospect card, I guess, but not rookie. Luke Langley shouldn't have a rookie label, but it's Iowa, and the Cy Hawk game is every year Iowa State, and I just created the audiobook for Spirit of the Gridiron, my fictional novel about Beck, Jordan, Simpson College, and the College Football League. And it was really fun recording that chapter, and I can still see like the images in my mind from when I wrote that chapter. A lot of fun. It's kind of like when the main character, Beck Jordan, kind of like falls in love with his girlfriend, Madison Clark. He falls in love because he realizes she knows football just as much as he does. Bryce Underwood. There's the rated prospect logo. That makes more sense. Bryce obviously was the young prodigy playing for Michigan. I think they underperformed last year, I'd say, but he could be back. That's a pretty sick-looking card. Not pink, so not Michaela Bear pink, but purple is pretty sweet. Julian Sayin, rated rookie. He was really good. I think that might even deserve the gallery too. I don't know. Shout out to all those Buckeye fans out there. And Savion Williams. All right, we're approaching 2 hours and 30 minutes. Thank you all for sticking with me. I appreciate it. Ooh, another new one. Dude, we're on a hot streak. It's 3 in a row. Maybe more. Upper Deck 1991-92 NBA basketball. $4 this pack. Inaugural edition. This could be a banger. Let's see. Basketball gods, be with us. The hobby's obsessed right now with Jordan, but not me. I'll be happy with anything we pull. Careful what you wish for. Herb Williams, Dallas Mavericks, starting us off. Liddell Eccles, Washington Bullets. Notice the upper deck's got the authenticity sticker on it. Wayne Cooper. Sam Bowie. Not only was he drafted before Jordan, but he never really was never even really a great player. He was solid. He had always promise, but he never really kind of like delivered. I watched a lot of Nets games back then because I played fantasy sports, and yeah, he never fulfilled his first draft pick promise. Winston Bennett with the Cavs. Mark Akers, the Magic. Ooh, Dennis Scott. He was one of the original great three-point shooters, yeah? Myron Brown, Minnesota Timberwolves. Oh, I thought it was Charles Barkley for a second. Brian Oliver, 76ers. Mark Aguirre. He was an important role player for those Detroit Piston teams with Bill Laimbeer and Isaiah Thomas. He was good. And then Michael Smith, Celtics. Yeah, I'm really thrilled that I wrote this basketball book because it's given me an excuse to get back into the basketball stuff so much. And I give credit to Paulie because he invited me to go to the NBA Top Shot event and Summer League event. I was on a panel, and then I got interviewed the next day at the courts for an event. And being at Summer League, being so close to the court, watching all those kids play, a lot of the kids that I watched at KU were making their debut. And yeah, I just fell in love with the game again at a whole nother level. All right, let's keep going. Topps Chrome football. We've pulled two of these packs so far. They've been busts. Maybe this one could be really good. Brian O'Neill, offensive tackle. Mike Evans, now with the 49ers. Jim McMahon, worthless. Legends insert. And then Rashad Bateman, red, white, and blue. Two inserts. Well, one insert, one parallel. Still a bust pack. Ooh, we just pulled one of these. Another 91-92 upper deck. Fine with me. Trying to think. We've covered every sport. I mean, I know we didn't cover tennis or some of the alternative sports, but we have football. We did one soccer. We've done hockey. Yeah, I think we've done a pretty good job. You haven't done a lot of hockey, though. We've done a lot of Pokemon, I feel like. It's been maybe the most. Ooh, David Robinson. Not his rookie card, though. David Robinson is definitely one of the all-time greats, yeah? Tim McCormick. Not one of the all-time greats. David Greenwood. Eric Lechner. Spud Webb. Ooh. So this is wow. This is the Atlanta Hawks checklist, but it's Dominique Wilkins, and this should be like a card. That's, as you know, Dominique was my favorite player growing up, and he's been like the MVP of my Kansas City Kings team. Although it's definitely a team effort. I mean, it's been a really great roster. Everyone's contributing, but he's the face of the team for sure. Ooh, Scottie Pippen. Battling for the ball there. Charles Smith, Mark West, Darnell Valentine, Rick Mahorn. I feel like when I think of Rick Mahorn, I think of him from the Detroit Pistons, but he was like an enforcer. He was big and tough. Didn't put up a lot of points, but played good defense, protected the stars. The draft picks card with John Turner, Houston Rockets. He was a bust. That pack was a bust. Ooh, another O-Pee-Chee hockey. Let's do it. You haven't done enough hockey tonight. It's only been a couple of hockey packs. Maybe only be the second one. Hampus Lindholm, Nate Danielson, Carson Dorwat in the yellow parallel, Martin Negas, Busback. Our third V Friends pack. You guys know how I feel about V Friends. I love it. Like a sponge. Competitive advantage soaks up lessons, feedback, and perspective to keep growing. Fearless Fairy. Fearless because she doesn't worry about other people's opinions. Ooh, Gracious Goose with the chalk. Today's lesson, handle defeat with heart. Gracious Goose teaches that being gracious in defeat means owning your mistakes, learning from them, and coming back stronger. Competition is how you get better every time. And then the boss, Bobcat, knows that you work for everyone as a leader, not the other way around. A lot of golf, guys. A lot of golf. Golf gods are saying, buy my book. Maybe this is the golf gods' way of saying that's the next audio clip that I record is the golf gods are real. Maybe it should be, I think it should be Pokemon though. I don't know. Pearson Goody. 2 horizontals back to back. Whoa, guys, look at this. It's an error card. We pulled an error card. Let's go. JJ Spawn. Oh, maybe not. Nope. I think I'm wrong. It's Michelle West. It's the same. Sorry, guys. False alarm. False alarm. Retract the device. Retract the device. Kurt Kitayama. Swing plane insert. Caleb Scott. Retro card. Michelle West. UD Gallery. Yeah, I feel like it should have said something there, but there's the Payne Stewart. I mentioned Payne Stewart in my Golf Gods of Real book. He was one of the most classy golfers of all time. He was he was a legend. I just won a major tournament and died in a terrible plane crash. One of the all-time tragedies of golf. Rest in peace, Payne Stewart. Can't say it's a bus pack if Payne Stewart's in there, guys. Top Scrum football. Back again. CJ Stroud. I own a CJ Stroud 101. There's a chapter called the 101 in my upcoming book, Card Life Volume 3. Zach Ertz. Jalen Hurts. Jerome Ford, red, white, and blue. Another bust from Top Scrum football. All right, 2 questions to go. If someone inherited your collection tomorrow, what's the one story you hoped they knew? I guess for me, it would be that my entire collection, I wrote a story about called the Sports Card Collectors Club. That book series is basically all about my love for the hobby. And ultimately, by the time the book series is over, I will have written about or mentioned every single card that I currently PC in some way or form. So, I want people to know they're inheriting the cards, but there's actually a book they can read about these cards. So, yeah, that's a cool question. All right. It's like the V-Friend gods are real, and there was only 6 of these packs in the entire box. And I'm telling you, there's like 100 packs. I don't know why I picked the other V-Friends. I have no control over what I'm picking. But I'm fine with it. I love V-Friends. Shout out to Gary V. Slaying Slug. Oh, look who it is. Speak of the devil, right? Come on, right on cue, synchronicity. Competitive advantage. Moves with such confidence in herself, it inspires others to do the same. There is the creator, the mastermind, the prophet in Volume 1. I dedicate Volume 2 to this guy. Look forward to meeting Gary and just telling him how proud I am of him. He's done a great job. I love this product, and, F all the haters, man. Determined Dolphin. Knows progress comes from showing up, not giving up. Caring Camel. Always gets over the hump. I finished my second drink, guys. We are nearing the end of this stream. Ooh, another one of these weird ones. Another pack from the Sage, unlicensed college football. Again, I originally was buying lots of college football stuff, and I was writing and really editing Spirits of the Gridiron Volume 1. Now, that is potentially a 10-part series, but to be honest, out of my 16 books, it's I think one of my least selling books, which is crazy because I got the most critical acclaim from that book. It's probably my best story. I think it'll be a late bloomer, but I'm not going to prioritize writing the rest of that book and getting it out if no one's reading it. I'm happy just to have that first book out. I'm very proud of it. But if the audiobook starts to take off, which is out there, it's for free, and if people start to wake up to Volume 1, maybe this football season as it starts, then I will put the effort in. And my goal is to write Volume 2 through 10 completely, and then release them all together. I want it to be complete body of work, and I have basically the whole story in my head. I have Volumes 2 through 7 lined out. I haven't written 8, 9, and 10, like the layout kind of thing. But I will if I kind of feel like the universe or book readers are clamoring for it, and if they are, I'll get to work on that. I'll prioritize it. And anyway, so here's this non-licensed college football pack from Sage. which usually you can only get at like Walmart. Carnell Tate with the pretty accurate looking Ohio State uniforms. Joey Aguilar, I'm pretty sure you can guess that's Tennessee. Casey Concepcion, Texas A&M wide receiver. Damone Claiborne. Chris Roselle II. Oh, look who it is! It's Carson Beck. I named Beck Jordan after Carson Beck because he was playing in like a bowl game 2-3 years ago for Georgia. And that's when I came up with the name for Beck Jordan. I might have already been writing the story and changing the name. And I forget if I had a working title. I forget how that happened. But when I finally decided to name the main character, it was because of that guy. Here's a next level Jordan Tyson. Jonah Coleman. Holy shnikes. Universe is talking. Guys, go check out my book, Spirits of the Gridiron, or just listen to the audiobook for free. It's on YouTube. Check it out. Hold on. This needs to You know what? I probably should be super collecting Carson Beck and getting all the parallels, like building a rainbow of his rookie cards, you know? But this is good enough for now. You know what? When I first named the character, he was the stud quarterback of Georgia, but then he transfers to Miami for big money, and then he made it to the national championship there. And then now he might even be the starting quarterback in Arizona. So good for you, buddy. Luke Atmeyer, Red Murdoch, and Haynes King. So I can't say that was a bust pack, although it was. But sentimentally, it was 2 thumbs up. So if you see, we built this whole pyramid here. So all we got left to do is add one more good card. We're at 2 hours and 45 minutes, so we'll wrap it up at 3. Maybe we'll go a few minutes longer so we can say this is officially my longest stream ever, which is awesome because this is our first ever Shoebox session. But we're hovering at just under 600 people. We're at 592 people. So that's amazing. So guys, thank you so much for sticking with me. Maybe you're all asleep, I don't know. But if you're not asleep, thank you. I just pulled 2 packs by mistake. They're the same. Archive Baseball. Here we go. I'd love to pull a Matt Strom card from the Card Life TV show. You know, Matt Strom, he got DFA'd, cut from the Royals, and no one's picked him up yet because of his contract. I wonder if he's going to be done with baseball, or maybe he'll come back next year, and someone will give him a chance in spring training, and he can earn a roster spot. I hope. I bet you he's battling injuries this year, and he's playing hurt. But anyway, if he doesn't come back, will the Card Life continue without him? Will he still want to do it if he's not in the pros anymore? I don't know. He might retire from it. We'll see. Matt Chapman, Logan Gilbert. I hope he continues. David Ortiz, Adrian Beltre. The show and pitching. Here's Tariq Skubal, Matt Scherzer, Barry Larkin, and Tony Gwynn, finishing with 2 veterans. Bust pack. Let's do it again. Generally, I like the retro designs. These 3 are okay, but they do have the 1964 one, which is awesome. But I think retro designs with modern players is fun. Luis Garcia Jr., Andrew Benintendi. He's carved out a nice little career for himself, hasn't he? His son Win, Young Hoo Lee, Ronald Acuna Jr.'s little brother, who's now with the Sox. Whoa! Look who it is. George Brett. No longer the home run king of the Royals. He got surpassed 2 weeks ago by Salvador Perez. But I super collect George Brett. He's the first player I started super collecting when I moved to Kansas City and got back into the hobby. And I'm not sure I have that one. That's pretty sweet. And that might be the last card we need to finish things off. I mean, Cody Senga. Wow, we did a lot of damage to that shoebox. But it's good. We went for almost 3 hours, so it's good to kind of get a sense of how many packs I can go through, over that period of time. Okay, so we'll do a couple more packs, and then we'll rip one more question, and then to finish it up, we'll throw on the loop, and we'll make sure this is the longest rip session ever, because my longest ever was 3 hours long. So we'll go just a bit longer than that. So let's do a couple more packs, and let's do the last question right now. What's an item that instantly takes you back to childhood? I mean, it's a great question. I know. Here's my answer. Hold on. There's a chapter in the Sports Card Collectors Club Volume 1 about the first player I ever super collected, which was Dale Murphy. Now, Dale Murphy played for the Atlanta Braves, and I grew up originally a Mets fan, but it was watching the Mets play against the Braves with Dale Murphy, and I was so impressed with him playing for the away team that he became my favorite player. And then, coincidentally, when I first started opening packs, I think I had a Dale Murphy in the first pack I ever opened. And then as the years went by, especially when I started playing Flip on the school bus, a lot of time I would just wind up with the winnings, and I always had a predominant amount of Dale Murphy cards, some of which I eventually traded away or lost. But I've been collecting Dale Murphy cards ever since. That's 1982. 83. But then I also, hold on. Then I also started collecting, anything I could find. This 1990 score, famous 87 tops, 90 Flair. Yeah, I'll move him over here. Another Flair card. Stadium Club. Actually, it's kind of a glare there, huh? Yeah, let's shut this down. The rest of the stream. Famous 1984, the year of Don Mattingly's rookie year. Famous 1988 tops. That was the last year I collected before I went on a 30-year hiatus. Another 90 Flair. So yeah, so to answer that question, it's Dale Murphy cards from the junk wax era. 87 again. That really weird wood design. This is a cool one. Welcome to the 30-30 Club. Home runs and stolen bases, I imagine. Flair League Leaders. Here's a really weird one. Granola bars, Quaker Chewy, Dale Murphy. This was a cool one. I grew up a Mets fan, so I loved Keith Hernandez. That's the NL All-Stars with Dale Murphy and Keith Hernandez together. This is another one with a food packaging company. This was Drake's Big Hitters. 4th Annual Collector's Edition, 22 out of 33. 10th Anniversary Player of the Decade. Not in the Hall of Fame yet. How's that possible? Come on, Hall of Fame. Get your act together. Dale Murphy should be in. Oh, this is a cool one. 1989 Bowman. Pulled a lot of this one. Ooh, back to back to back. 1988 Don Ross. When I was a kid, I opened mostly Topps packs. Now, as an adult, going back to Junk Wax, I prefer Don Ross. I love rated rookies. I love that logo. I even have a rated rookie logo sign in my office. This is when he won the MVP. Ooh, the 1983. Cool design. Definitely remember flipping that in the back of the bus. 88. Got a bunch of that one. This is my, out of all the different designs, honestly, I think 1989 might be my favorite. Another 87, another anniversary. Oh, here's one you haven't seen yet. It's an Upper Deck. Playing for the Phillies, the end of his career. It's really strange playing for the Phillies, right? But you play as long as you can. There's a score one in orange. And then one more, 89. So yeah, so those questions were made by ChatGPT. I asked them to do that. And I had that hat available for my last several podcasts. I told each guest that we're going to pull hats from, questions from that hat for the guest. And then every episode is just so much fun, and the conversations are just flowing, and questions are coming to me naturally. And I never needed to pull the questions out of the hat. But I thought for this format, it actually is kind of perfect. So hopefully we'll get, I'll generate some more questions for our next episode. And it's kind of fun to kind of mix them into the pack ripping. And then hopefully you guys will be active with the chat again next week, And so I think let's do one more pack to finish it strong. And then we'll end at 3 hours and put on the loop, which will last 10 minutes. And so we'll break the record for longest stream ever. But 593 people, you've been with me the whole time. We've been in this range. And thank you so much, guys. I hope it's been fun for you. It's been so much fun for me. I just pulled two. Fun. We got Bowman U football, and we got Stadium Club baseball 2025. So yeah, so we were doing this live, and I thank you all for joining me. But the great thing about YouTube is it's being recorded. So if anyone misses this episode, you can just catch the episodes, at your leisure down the road. There's Dalton Rushing, rookie card. He's out for the year with an injury. Matt Shaw with the rookie card, green parallel. That is interesting photography there. Junior Caminero has been on my fantasy baseball team 2 years in a row, and he's phenomenal. And then Johan Santana. Love college football, although I gotta be honest, transfer portal has made college collecting less fun because it's bad enough when a pro player changes team. It's really awful now that players are transferring like every season. So it's rare that someone like Arch Manning goes to a school and actually stays there, especially when he could have gone pro last year if he wanted to. I commend him for going back to school. You know what? He's probably getting paid more money at Texas than he would have gone pro. Who knows? There's a OU first Bowman quarterback from Illinois. First Bowman quarterback from Baylor. And then wide receiver, first Bowman from Georgia Tech. All right, we're at 2 hours and 59 minutes. So we got to cross the 2 hour threshold legitimately. So let's rip one more pack. Oh, holy dude. Holy shnikes. We're finishing the perfect last pack. We've seen the price of non-sports cards like Spider-Man and Mickey Mouse go berserk. I bought this at a trade show a very, very long time ago for $3. It's not Spider-Man, but he's up there in popularity. Even at the time, according to this, it was the #1 movie hit. It's a Topps Batman Returns. Don't know if inside it's like the Michael Keaton kind of cards or if it's the cartoon kind of cards. The cover makes me believe it's cartoonish vibe. So let's rip this thing and see. We did just pass the 3-hour mark. We've tied the longest stream ever. So thank you all for joining me and staying with me. We'll rip this pack and then we'll put on the my concluding loop, and we'll finish it up. Okay, this is like a scene from the movie, one of the movies, which I've never seen, I guess. This one looks like it's a cartoon, a penguin scorned. Evil Prince of the City. Battered by Batman. So, non-sport cards are taken off, but I don't know if it's any of these from this pack that are going to be really valuable. Back to the Depths. Cycling. Psychos. It's ironic. I was the most excited about this one. It's like non-sports cards, vintage Batman, I thought. It's probably my least favorite pack of the entire rip session. Master of the Lower Depths. Burn, Baby Burn with the Joker. He scares the heck out of me. He's scary looking. Now, Michelle Pfeiffer as the Catwoman, I give this 2 thumbs up. Vengeance is hers. Hell yeah. She's pretty good looking, I'd say. All right, guys. So that's a pretty fun way to finish strong with a Batman pack. This is the entire stack. Let's see if I can carry it over. These are all the cards we pulled that did make the gallery. I will sift through these tomorrow when I have some more time and see which ones I might be able to flip on eBay next couple days. Which ones will just go into the shoebox and go to the baseball card store. Which ones I'll use for to add into envelopes as little freebies. We'll figure it out. But we had a great session, longest one ever. And even though most of these cards were sentimental value, I don't think we hit any bangers unless potentially this Pokémon card, maybe it's worth $20. I don't know. I just don't know. I don't think so. It's not one of the main characters. And the one card that we really pulled that was like the real banger was this Tyler Locklear on-card auto out of 50 gold parallel rookie card. Oh, you know what? I have my phone right here. Let's look up the value right now. We'll find out. Drum roll, please. It could be $5 for all I know. In fact, if I'm being a cynical skeptic, that's what I would argue it's worth. It's $5. Oh shit. They're going for like $40. Let's look at comps. PSA 9 went for 40. Yeah. It's a $40 card. That's a win. All right, so that's actually pretty good. We hit a lot of sentimental stuff, but we did finish with a card that's actually a pretty good pull. It's actually a really it's a beautiful looking card. But he's not one of my players, so we'll put it on eBay and we'll flip it and it's sort of, I kind of feel like ripping packs is like going fishing, and when you reel in a good fish, you then release it back into the water. So I like to like pull a big fish and then like get it into the hands of someone who's truly a collector who loves this player. So that's what I would definitely do with this. So anyway, we definitely broke the record now. Longest rip session ever, which is cool because this is the first time we did a shoebox session, which we'll continue to do every other Tuesday night, 10 o'clock Eastern, 7 o'clock Pacific. Catch me tomorrow on the Poke Collective, on the Collecting and Connecting Network. And then I have a guest coming on, my first author, next Tuesday, 7 o'clock Eastern, on the Sports Card Collectors podcast. The author of The Wax Pack and some other great books will be joining me. I would just mention my grandma Doris, sending her my love, almost 103, entering hospice. What an amazing life she had, an amazing marriage, kids, grandkids, traveled the world. It's never easy to leave this planet. And so I know that the last couple of days have been tough for her. So I'm sending her my love. And when I do fly to Long Island, it will not be a funeral. It'll be a celebration of life, because when you live to almost 103, you've been blessed, absolutely blessed. So so it's kind of like you get born and it's tough, and it's not always easy to leave. And I know she's struggling. So my love to my grandma Doris, praying for her to reunite with my grandpa Marty soon enough in a place called heaven. And thank you so much, guys, for the support tonight. We're finishing with 592 hobby collectors, and I'm grateful for all of you. And thank you for the support and all the good wishes for my grandma. And we'll do this again soon, randomly, spontaneously, but always every other Tuesday at 10 o'clock Eastern, 7 Pacific. So you guys take care. I appreciate all of you. And as always, God bless.
Rip sessions, we never get enough. The Card Life Chronicles. Big hits, hold that card up high. Old time fun and a wild surprise. The Card Life Chronicles. A wild surprise.